coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The official 97.1 FM Talk Weather Center forecast. Clouds and sun, a rather mild afternoon. High today 58. Clouds and a bit cooler tonight, low 35. Partly sunny, cool day tomorrow, the high 41. Partly cloudy tomorrow night and a low 31. Couple of flurries on Wednesday morning, otherwise partly sunny and cold. High on Wednesday afternoon, 38. I'm Steve Williams for 97.1 FM Talk.
The election is finally over. Now you can get the cash you need. Imagine what you could do with $50,000. Pay off credit cards, do home improvements, or even pay off auto loans. Golden Oak's mortgage rate is 5.25%. There's no out-of-pocket costs, so call today and make no payments until next year. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
6.19 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The holidays are happening at Diamonds Direct. Still rushing to finish your holiday shopping? Don't worry, we've got you covered. This weekend only, it's our last chance sale with 20% off virtually everything. Earrings, bracelets, pendants, and more. Plus special financing options up to 5 years. But don't wait, this is your final opportunity to find the perfect gift at the best value before the holidays. Plus special designer appearances. Visit us during extended holiday hours or shop online and pick up in store. Our 20% off last chance sale ends Sunday. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com.
Count on Steel for Christmas cleanup made easy with the SEA 20 battery-powered handheld vacuum. Now just $99.99. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at steelusa.com. Valid offer for a limited time, only at participating dealers while supplies last.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I'll ask you, sir, one final question. What do you want to say to Americans who didn't support you in this campaign?
I'm going to treat you every bit as well as I have treated the greatest MAGA supporters. There's never been anything like MAGA in the history of this country. These people are so dedicated to making America great again. It's very simple. And I'm going to treat them just the same as I treat MAGA. We're going to treat everybody good. We want success for our country. We want safety for our country.
I can't hear myself. There we are. Okay. There we are. Was I not on?
You weren't, but
so
you're here.
I should start over.
Good morning. Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You even messed that up.
Turn Ryan's mic off. Happy Monday. That's a wild way to start. Listening to President Trump there talk about what he's going to do upon taking office in, I haven't checked because there's been a weekend to factor in, 42 days until Donald Trump once again is the president of the United States. And he sat down with I had this up on I watched the whole thing, and it's what, I've got my phone up here, an hour and 16 minutes and 28 seconds on the video that I watched online, and I watched the whole thing, the whole conversation with Kristen Welker, and I love everything that I saw because Donald Trump was completely and totally, I would say, consistent in what he is presenting as answers to questions. Kristen Welker, actually, I would say, did a pretty decent job. She asked some very predictable questions throughout the course of that interview, and Donald Trump stuck to his guns, and he gave the answers that you he didn't retract it. It's not like, okay, I got elected, now I can tell you the real truth. He stayed consistent and resolute on the things that he think matter to him as the man who ran for your vote and won the popular vote, the electoral vote, every single swing state. Donald Trump was very much so well presented in this conversation with Kristen Welker. Welcome back to the Andy Fry Show. Happy Monday. I appreciate you being with us this afternoon. There is some news afoot in the last hour or so, and this is a huge deal out of New York this morning in the Daniel Penny case.
The jury has reached a unanimous verdict in the case of Daniel Penny. He's been found not guilty on the charge of criminally negligent homicide. Now, remember what was at stake here. The jury could not agree on manslaughter. They failed to agree twice. The judge gave them another bite at the apple on this lesser charge, negligent. They now say not guilty.
How interesting that the manslaughter charge, that they couldn't come to an agreement on that, but they're also like, but he's also definitely not criminally negligent. Seems kind of interesting to me. We'll wait and see what Alvin Bragg does in that area. There's discussion as to whether or not he could retry the case because with the initial charge, the higher charge, not coming to a conclusion with a guilty or not guilty verdict, there is discussion as to whether or not that case, that prosecution has been closed. I was listening to Jonathan Turley earlier this morning on Fox News, and he reported that since the judge dismissed the first case, that it would make it very difficult and obscure for Alvin Bragg to then bring a second attempt at a charge of that manslaughter charge against Daniel Penny in that New York case in the death of Neely, who was having a psychotic episode with making threats on a subway car, and Daniel Penny stepped in to ensure that the people in that subway car were safe. It resulted in the death of Neely, and today that jury in New York, a jury of Penny's peers, has said that he is not guilty of criminal negligence. You can't look at anything going out of that district with Alvin Bragg being in charge there. There's nothing that you're going to approach there and see that is, that you can't automatically predict the next thing that's going to happen because nothing that this man does is obvious. He is willing to go against the grain at any given time, incredibly politically motivated there in Manhattan and also in the state. When you have an attorney general and a district attorney who campaign on the idea of getting Donald Trump, you know that they are most definitely interested in the idea of politics being the most at play. You have to make sure that you follow this case all the way through to the end and understand very, very quickly that politics is a major factor in what is going to take place going forward with this case and also the Trump ones. There's a portion, I don't have the clip here. I'm going to get it for you a little bit later. We'll probably talk a little bit more about this interview of that Kristen Welker conversation where she asks Donald Trump, would you accept a pardon from Joe Biden? And he says, what would I be pardoned for? I haven't done anything wrong. And I think it's an interesting conversation to entertain right now. If you think about Donald Trump being like, oh, yeah, I'd take a pardon, that'd be real helpful. First and foremost, the cases that he has been found guilty in, not yet sentenced, so not yet a convicted felon in that right. Just a reminder for the folks in the back, not a convicted felon yet because he has not faced sentencing and in the conclusion of that court case. Those are state charges. Joe Biden can't offer him a pardon for those things that he has been found guilty of. On a federal level, Jack Smith is folded up shop and he's on his way. He's out of there. There isn't really anything, in my opinion, that Joe Biden can pardon Donald Trump for that would be actually helpful to Donald Trump. And if you're going to accept, people continue to say this, if you're going to accept a pardon, there's an admission of guilt there that you need to be pardoned from something. In the same vein, we hear a lot of Democrats suggesting that we should see Joe Biden give like large blanket pardons to people like Liz Cheney and the people on the select committee that went after Donald Trump, didn't materialize into anything, and then deleted a bunch of evidence in their investigations into Donald Trump. So you're going to hear, this is going to be interesting. This is your talking point for your holiday. Don't do this at holiday parties. If this stuff comes up and someone's trying to back you in the corner, you can't have it both ways. You can't have people talking about maybe the unifying nature of Joe Biden offering Donald Trump some kind of pardon, but then they want to get you to the point where you're like, well, yeah, that would be nice. That would be something moving forward. And then they quickly go, but that would mean that Donald Trump would have to admit guilt, because they're just trying to get you to admit that you think Donald Trump did something that he should feel guilty for and be pardoned for. You can't live in that world and the world where Joe Biden offers blanket pardons to people like Liz Cheney and the like for whatever it is they were involved in, and not also suggest that should they get those pardons and accept those pardons, that they too are not guilty for something and feeling as such. It'll be very important to watch the justice system continue to fold in the way that they have been, with Jack Smith saying there's nothing left to do here, watching as we see Kash Patel move closer and closer towards the FBI director position, when we see Pam Bondi go in as the attorney general, where their focus is. Donald Trump has said consistently from the campaign trail, and then also again in his first interview with Kristen Welker here this weekend on Meet the Press, Donald Trump has consistently said, my success will be my retribution. And people are like, oh, he said retribution. But it's not what he's not saying he's going to send an army of people to the doorsteps of anybody who is his political enemy. He knows I don't think that he's doing this in a biblical way, but the Bible talks about heaping burning coals on the heads of those who oppress you, because it's the worst thing ever to sit there and watch a positive way forward, a measure of success, something that isn't fighting fire with fire. It's if the left is to sit by and watch Donald Trump do the things that he said he would do to get elected, and the American people love it because it's what's best for the country, there's nothing worse for those people who have been his opposition for this long. There's going to be nothing worse than to watch Donald Trump be the most successful for the people who did not want him there the most. And the reason why is because if you're sitting at home and you are somebody who is on the fence, if you're sitting at home and you are not a Trump person, you believe in fiscal conservatism, you think that Donald Trump is kind of a pompous butthead, and you are not interested in contributing to more of the MAGA culture that you hate. If you're one of those individuals, but you decided, you know what, this Kamala Harris direction is an absolute nightmare for the country, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. You're somebody who is probably in play the next election around for people who are going to watch Donald Trump go do the things that they think that Donald Trump does. And if he's successful, if you were one of those people who was in the middle and you threw your support behind Donald Trump, or maybe you just didn't support his opponent in this last election, if Donald Trump is successful, then he likely has won you over with his actions. They cannot compete with that. The worst thing that can happen to these people who have been in direct opposition to Donald Trump, it's a lifestyle. It's what drives your everyday maneuvers. The worst thing that can happen to them is that Donald Trump does the things he says he was going to do and is successful at doing them. And that's what Donald Trump continues to say. We have a great show planned for you today. Al Robertson is going to be on with us next. He hosts the Unashamed podcast. You know the Robertson family from Duck Dynasty. And I did an event with Al and his wonderful wife maybe about a year and a half ago. And it was a pro-life event with the Vitae Foundation. And it was wonderful to listen to Al, who's a pastor, talk about these issues that often get discussed in political climates. You know, there's a much bigger thing than politics. There's culture. There's how you live your life. There's your ability to live your life on your own without some sort of oppressive government coming in and telling you what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it. The discussion doesn't stop because the campaign is over, because the election is over. Really, this discussion should be what really, really drives the next one. So Al Robertson is going to be on with us next. He's going to join us on video, so join us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Our YouTube live chat poll for today is who should be deported? Kristen Welker asked him about some of this stuff, and Donald Trump did not give a hard line, toss everybody out on their tuchus. He didn't say that. Now the word DACA is back up. How old are the DACA people, you think?
Oh, gosh.
Aren't they our age? I always kind of thought that.
Yeah, I mean, that could be generations at this point.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I would imagine that the oldest DACA people might be in their 40s. Because they were supposed to be people who, at the time that Barack Obama was assembling this, were people who knew nothing but America. Did not come here on their own fruition. They came here, they've put roots down here. This is their home. If you sent them back to some other country, that would be the most foreign thing to them. They don't know anything differently. So how many DACA, and at the time, my recollection, it was somewhere around 750,000 people to maybe 800,000 people. It was less than 1 million people that we were discussing. How many people is that now?
Oh.
Millions, I would only imagine.
Yeah, I mean, if you're including, gosh, the last 4 years have changed that number completely.
The people who were put into the framework of qualifying for DACA status, I'm pretty certain had to be children when they came here. I mean, it was not something it was not a decision that they made to shirk the laws that were in place. And those people are all old enough to have multiples of children by now.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if you're born here, you're a citizen. So what happens with all of those individuals? I'll be curious to see how hardline the Annie Fry Show audience is on this question. Who should be deported? We have 4 options for you. Every illegal immigrant is the first one. The second one, and I had to figure out how to write this and limit it to like 35 characters that I get to put it in the YouTube poll. The first one is every illegal immigrant. The second one is criminals. Now, listen, I get it. If you broke the law to come here, you're a criminal. But I'm talking about in this second category, criminals other than illegal entry. So if you were a criminal before you came here, if you've committed any crime since you've been here, those type of people, maybe that's your category. The third one is more recent immigrants. And I thought about putting a time frame on it, but I'm pretty sure that if you think that people who've been here for a super long time are different than people who've come here in the last 4 years, in the last 14 years, whatever it might be, vote more recent immigrants and then leave us a comment as to what you define recent to be. Or the last option, got to put it in there, you don't think anyone should be deported. That's the YouTube live chat poll for today, and we'd love to hear what you think about it. Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and vote and leave your comments. We will feature some of them throughout the course of the show. Al Robertson's going to join us when we come back. He's the host of the Unashamed podcast, the oldest beardless bro. That's what his X handle is, at beardless bro. He's going to be with us. We're going to talk to him. We're going to have him join us there on the video. And we're going to talk to him about probably the most important conversation, which is how does culture affect politics and what is our roles? Yes, we're voters, but we're also people of faith. We're parents. We're children. There's a lot of culture. There's a lot of faith. It's the most important conversation, and we'll have it with Al Robertson in just a few minutes. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, smartest financial move you can make for yourself. Not necessarily to get the bagel loan, but to give yourself the opportunity to check out the bagel loan for yourself. When you call 314-324-4440, that's 314-324-4440, you're going to talk to Stewie about your next mortgage or possibly a mortgage refinance. You can refinance your mortgage or acquire a new mortgage with $0 in closing costs. They don't get rolled into the loan. I've refinanced myself back when rates were going super basement low because I talk to you every day about the point of making sure that that mortgage payment is working the most for you as it possibly can. And I said to myself, you have to do this too. I've worked with Stewie. He's an honest man. He runs an honest business, and he does it the old-fashioned way. When you call or text 314-324-4440, you get directly connected with Stewie because it's his cell phone. It's in his pocket right now. Google the Bagel Loan for more information. And if you have any questions about your mortgage and how to make it so that you pay $0 in closing costs, Stewie's there to take your call. 314-324-4440, NMLS number 226715.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-699-1059. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Well, don't panic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. The original Red Ribbon Garage Door Company, trusted in St. Louis since 1926. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, write this number down or put it into your phone. 800-909-1822. The IRS is hiring more staff and cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to learn about our tax debt reduction programs and how to stop the collection efforts. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or years of unpaid taxes, even if you're already in a payment plan, we can help. Through special IRS programs, you may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a fraction of what you owe. Tax Relief Helpers has helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. No matter what amount you or your business owe to the IRS, call our tax relief hotline now for a free consultation and see what savings you may qualify for. Don't tackle the IRS on your own, and don't risk having your wages, Social Security, even your pension seized. Call now. Call 800-909-1822. That's 800-909-1822. 800-909-1822.
Listen, you've been making house payments for years, right? And right now your home's value has never been higher, right? That means you're likely sitting on a small fortune in equity. Good for you. That's cash you could use to help secure your retirement, solve all your financial burdens, enable you to travel, everything you want. The catch is, you're not ready to move. No problem. You don't have to with True Hold, sell and stay leaseback program. This is a genius financial strategy. You sell your home to True Hold while the value is high. You bank all that equity in cash now, and you can stay in your home as long as you like with an easy, affordable lease. And True Hold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. True Hold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a True Hold offer now while your home's value is sky high. Call 1-855-300-9993. That's 1-855-300-1993. Or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out without moving out. TrueHold.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
We know you've got an interesting take on things.
You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app.
I was walking down the street the other day, trying to distract myself, but then I see your face. Oh wait, that's someone else. Trying to play it coy, trying to make it disappear. But just like the Battle of Troy, there's nothing settled here. In my room there's a king-size space, bigger than it used to be. If you want, you can rent that place. Call me an amenity.
Christmas season has always been my favorite time of the year. It's a season that we get to celebrate the birth of our Lord. This year, I'm excited to share that I've partnered with this amazing prayer, meditation, and music app called Hallow on their 25-day prayer challenge leading up to Christmas called Advent Pray 25. Join me and millions of other Christians around the world as we celebrate together the truth that God so loved the world that he gave us his only son. Download Hallow and join me in praying every day. God bless.
So there you have Gwen Stefani of No Doubt fame. I grew up with her. And she's talking about being a Christian openly. She's talking about the idea of praying and spending time focusing on Christmas as something that has to do with Jesus. And I got to say, yes, it's an advertisement for Hallow, but she's out there professing it. Is there something going on post-election where people are maybe just a little more comfortable now to say, yeah, I publicly identify as a Christian, and I pray, and I love Jesus, and Jesus loves me. Let's get to our next guest. Al Robertson is back on the show with us. We haven't talked to him in a while. He's the host of the Unashamed podcast. You know him of the Duck Dynasty family. Al, welcome back to the show. It's so great to have you here. Okay, Al, can you hear us okay? We are having some technical difficulty today. There you go.
We are. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you for having me back.
Of course. You know, you and I have shared a stage talking about our pro-life viewpoints and advocating for people to support the pro-life cause, but oftentimes that gets lumped into a political conversation when really, I wonder if you agree with me, the cultural conversation is so much bigger and broader than what the political conversation brings to the table.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. It's, and at one time, even on the political side, it made sense that, what was legal, safe, and rare, used to be the idea behind it. And even then, at a common sense level, people understood we're talking about a woman in trouble. We're talking about probably a lot of relationship issues. We're talking about the life of a child. I mean, all those things would have mattered just in the sense of being a human being. And then it became so politicized that all the names got changed, all the descriptions got changed, and then all of a sudden you're not even talking about real people anymore. We still are. I mean, we're still concerned about that mom, that baby, that young man that's involved in the process as well. So I just wish we could, and it seems like we're kind of getting back maybe to a more common sense time where we can just talk about human issues to human beings in a human way.
Yeah, it's an important conversation to have. I think a lot of people have been kind of spooked out of being willing to advocate for what we see on the mainstream. And I very much so believe, and you travel the country having these types of conversations, that the loudest voice out there isn't necessarily the most prominent, with the largest majority of people who have some pretty common sense thoughts about religion, people who identify themselves as being Christian. A lot of that pours into your thoughts in politics. Do you feel like there is a little bit of a movement to just not be like Bible thumping over it, is the way a lot of people might look at it, but just more open with it in conversation?
Yeah, and I think part of what you're seeing with the whole, Trump, movement of people, because Trump is not even really a super religious person or, a very spiritual discussion, coming out of all the things he talks about. And yet, just because of his common sense approach to people and the country, he's really, I think, opened more doors for us on the faith side than probably anyone else in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. And, you're talking about religious freedom, religious liberty, but also just being able to talk about this in the public square where it makes sense, especially. I mean, because even people that may not agree with you politically we all have the same wants, needs, and desires, and we want people to succeed. And the faith community has a major voice in that. And so I think you're starting to see that allowed more. We kind of went to this place where it was like, that has to be removed. That has to be put in your church or synagogue or whatever. And now we're saying, no, these are common sense things that really speak well in an open, commonplace situation. And so I think you're starting to see that more, just like in this last election, Trump was able to have his supporters say, I'm a Trump supporter without just being vilified. I mean, it's like, okay, you support the guy.
Yeah, something has changed. We're speaking with Al Robertson. He is of the Duck Dynasty family, of course, and you can listen to him on his Unashamed podcast. You know, Al, I think that Duck Dynasty definitely tapped in a little bit ahead of the curve into something that was always strong in this country, maybe quieted on the trendy culture front. But I remember the first time I watched an episode of Duck Dynasty, and at the end there was a prayer. And I'm a Christian Bible. I was raised that way, so I've known it my whole life. But I was shocked that at the end of the prayer, it was just a very honest prayer. There was no gimmick to it. There was no like, okay, now I see why they put that in there. Do you feel like that you guys were able to tap into something early with the success of Duck Dynasty because you were true to some of those roots?
No doubt. And it really fit, because we were sort of, if you think about it, looking back, this was like 2011, 2012. And so we were kind of the leading edge of what then became this cultural divide over everything, whether it's politics, religion, abortion, anything you wanted to throw in there. We were some of the early attempts to cancel, was us. And then it became real prominent. Now you're starting to see that ebb back. And so I think what people noticed when we first began was our authenticity. This is really who we were. And in fact, that prayer came about. It's not like somebody planned it and, it was in a writer's room. It came about because we were sitting around a table and doing the pilot, and the director says, okay, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but here are some ideas. And Dad just raised his hand and says, Mr. Director, before we eat, we give some blessings and praise to the Almighty about what we've received. Why don't we do that? And the guy's like, okay. But it was because that's who we were. And so I think that's what rings true. I think when you're authentic and when you really do live this way, people respect that. And I think a lot of people were being ignored. There were people all across America that were praying before their meals and said, finally, people gathering around the table can give praise to the Almighty. So I think that was the reason it resonated, and it really just it secured our place as a cultural phenomenon at the time.
It sure did. It was a part of, I've gone back and watched episodes with my children who weren't even there in 2012. They're like, can we watch that show about the ducks? And then she associates with, as Christians, like she sees that, she understands that it's meaningful to her, and she's 8 years old. You mentioned your father, and I watched just recently, your brother Willie sat down with Tucker Carlson. That was a really compelling conversation. But, once again, telling the story, as nobody has shied away from, your family's written books about it, about your pathway to being in the Christian faith, your ministry, yourself, the life that you walk to be a Christian. I hear so many people, especially in the election, would talk about Donald Trump, be like, he's not a good Christian. And I'm always like, can we first define, it's more important to me that we talk about what good Christians are, especially if we're talking about it in a secular sense.
Exactly.
The pathway to being a Christian and to being able to share that faith, there's not one way. There's many ways. Your family is certainly an example of that.
Well, and especially Dad. I mean, you mentioned, we did a movie called The Blind, and and Dad was, at first, he was like, I'm not sure about this. We're going to put on a movie screen the absolute worst spirit of my life. And I said, we're going to, Dad, you're right. I said, but just think about how that relates to just everybody who's out there who's really just trying to struggle, in a struggle to make their way. And this shows an opportunity. People see you now as this like iconic figure and, this person of faith. But at one time, he was not that way at all. He was just a guy struggling with addiction, with a family, with trying to figure out how to make it all work. And so that's Christianity in a nutshell. That's any of us. And that's why you can't look and say, well, we expect our president to be, Billy Graham. It's just, you're not going to, these are just people. And they're people who have a, deal for politics or deal for something else, But what we're trying to do is have a better influence to have a better life. And so that's what I'm looking for more than anything else. And look, allow us to be able to share Jesus with other people. You can take it or leave it. It's up to you. It's always a choice. But it's a choice lifestyle that we've lived ever since my dad became a Christian. Now, of course, this last week, we publicly talked about that he has early stage Alzheimer's. And so it reminds me of Reagan, when you kind of get to that point where you have to step off the public stage. But he's had such an impact, not on our family, but everybody else. Now we're all living legacies of what he's done in us. And so that gives us an opportunity to continue that on. And so we're not devastated by that. I read a lot of headlines this week, devastation in the Duck Dynasty family. We're not devastated. We have lived our life for the moment of when we cross over. And so that's what we do, and that's how we impact people.
That's such a powerful statement. We're speaking with Al Robertson of the Duck Dynasty family, his Unashamed podcast you should absolutely subscribe to. I consider your family, the Robertson family, to be one of the most iconic American families, currently in the public eye, certainly. But I think that the impact that you're going to have on culture is going to be studied and talked about for years to come. And your father, certainly with that news coming out, it's always sad to hear that. It's something that a lot of people can relate to during a holiday season right now, getting back together with family and friends. When I think about the struggles that your dad has gone through that he's publicly talked about that are in that movie, The Blind, it's not difficult to compare the many stories that are in the Bible of people who struggled, who were not anywhere close to, a respectful, God-fearing life that came into it. I mean, the Bible is full of those characters, and it is out there for anybody who is looking to have some sort of relationship like that. And I think your family, on a global level, has really exemplified that message.
Yeah, you're so right. And that's one thing, I've been a pastor most of my life. And so obviously I've studied the Bible. I've preached and taught a lot from it. And you're right. All the heroes of the Bible were villains at some point, in their own circumstances, in their own culture. And they came to an awakening of something better and something different. And so the only one that was Jesus. And so, that's the beauty of it, that we've lived our life for that. We were just duck call guys with beards down in Louisiana, just kind of doing our own thing. We never planned on becoming anything of a cultural discussion. But that's what God does. He takes that which people look at and say, I don't know these people and see anything redeeming about them, and all of a sudden you get to know them. We think, well, maybe there is something to that, and you see that consistently around our country. And so I love American stories. Especially ones where they understand who God is as well.
Final question before we let you go, and we're very grateful for your time today. We're speaking with Al Robertson. I don't know that I've heard about it as much here in the last week or two, but right after the election, leading into Thanksgiving, politically speaking, from the left, a lot of people saying if your family doesn't support the right candidate, you shut them out. You cut them off completely. What's your advice to those people who want to not have to do that? If they politically disagree, maybe they're on the Trump side, maybe they're not. How do you encourage families to interact with each other during this holiday season after a very contentious election?
Look, there's so much that can divide us and so much that does. And certainly we're all Americans. We have the beauty of this kind of experiment in human history is that we have the freedom to be able to disagree with people. But at the end of the day, you have to find a place of unity. And I can't think of a better place than in your own family. To come together for the holiday season, whether it's at Thanksgiving or Christmas, and whether you're a believer or not a believer, I mean, family is all you have while you're here on this earth. And so, look, you don't have to talk about, who you voted for. You don't have to talk about every political thing in a setting like that. Talk about the things you do agree with. I mean, the beauty of what we have in Christ is we have peace. And that peace comes from being able to disagree and yet still treat people respectfully. So that's what I would do. I hate the idea of cutting people off. I have people in my family that are left. And most of us are right, but you know what? We love them. Yeah. And we don't have to get into politics with that person or that cousin. We just find some other great things to talk about and realize we're still connected because of family.
Oh, amen to that. Al Robertson, thank you for the time today. Sorry about that technical difficulty at the beginning of our conversation.
Problem,
but we love having you. We look forward to having you back again soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. You as well. Bye-bye. Al Robertson, host of the Unashamed podcast, Duck Dynasty. I believe he's the oldest brother, and he's the beardless bro wasn't featured as much on the show, but did make appearances from time to time. I was able to do an event with him, as I said a little bit earlier in this conversation, with Al and his wife, Lisa Robertson. A great message on the pro-life cause, and really grateful that he is willing to come back on the show with us and have that discussion. So, Al Robertson from Duck Dynasty on the Annie Fry Show today. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Wiggins America, you're going to hit us with those Monday Roundup shows that are stories that maybe we might have missed over the weekend. There was still, I think this is just going to be the case, Ryan, that there's no days where no news is going to happen for a while.
No, this was actually kind of a wacky weekend.
Yes.
A lot of the weird stories.
All right, well, we'll get to them when we come back with Ryan Wiggins and Wiggins America next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
It's taking up a fraction of my mind. Every time I watch you serpentine.
CiviaLaw.com. If you were looking into the future right now and you're thinking about, do I have everything put together? Maybe you've made a trust before. Maybe you've put together, I got the will, I got the powers of attorney. I don't know if I need a trust. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And Civia Law, with 5 locations across the bi-state region, they are in Missouri and Illinois. I will remind you, folks, over in Wentzville, you can go see Civia Law there in Missouri. You can also visit them at Edwardsville, East Alton, Swansea, and Mount Vernon in Illinois. That trust, that whole system that you have set up, and it's been years and years, it needs to be relooked at. And Todd Civia and Civia Law can help you with that. When you go and call 833-995-WILL, that's 833-995-WILL, you can set up a strategy session. When you sit down with that strategy session, they can deliver to you completed documents in 2 weeks, which means you could have this whole thing taken care of and off of the worry of your mind in 14 days. That's an absolutely fantastic turnaround time, which when you get that put in place, if you pass away, your spouse isn't going to have to worry about the probate system. If you and your spouse pass away and you have minor children, dependents, you are going to have everything set up so that they don't have to wait for the probate system. Reach out to Civia Law, 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, and have a conversation today about setting up your strategy session. You can visit them online at CiviaLaw.com.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Should GLP-1 weight loss medication like Wegovy and Zepbound cost hundreds of dollars? We don't think so. TryLifeMD.com helps provide insurance access to the leading GLP-1 medications. Visit TryLifeMD.com to get your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility in minutes. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I'd gone from 237 to 195. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get started right now with your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility for coverage in minutes at TryLifeMD.com. That's TryLifeMD.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
A couple things to point out for you here. First is the YouTube live chat poll. Who should be deported? The answers that you could give are every illegal immigrant, criminals other than illegal entry, more recent immigrants, or no one. So a wide variety there. But in addition, I want to point out to you that you should stick around because today and every day this week, the Annie Fry Show is giving away Cardinals ticket packs. So not just games, but like full packs. These are great Christmas gift ideas. So stick around. We will tell you
could
when.
Keep them yourself.
What's that?
Or you could just give it to yourself for Christmas.
Well, you can give it to yourself. I'm just telling you that, you could split it up. You can do whatever you want because there's multiple games.
You could go yourself and take people?
Yeah. So a lot to give away this week. Lots and lots of Cardinals tickets in Cardinals ticket packs. So stay tuned. 12:46 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hi, this is Fred Bottomer from The Mark Reardon Show, inviting you to donate blood at the Odyssey Holiday Heroes Blood Drive. Please call 1-800-RED Cross to schedule an appointment or visit redcrossblood.org. Use sponsor code Odyssey.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins! Oh! Monday Roundup! Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
This is the wildest ride in the wilderness. It's been a crazy weekend, as evidenced by these stories that I'm about to dish to you. This is some goofy stuff. First of all, does everybody remember Ray Gun from the Olympics, the dancer? 37-year-old dancer's routine consisted of moves including...
Reagan isn't that like her last name or a version of her last name?
It was, I think
name
her
is
first
Rachel.
name was, was it Rachel?
Oh, Rachel Gunnarsson or something like that.
Yeah, but it's a combination.
Yeah.
And so she has like this stage name.
So it's supposed to be like Raygun,
Yeah.
wiki, you know?
Yes.
That's why Ethan is here to keep us young.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing here.
Wiki.
Call of Duty released a new game, and one of the emotes that you can do in the game is the ray gun dance.
Does she get something for that?
I would have.
Because if she gets something for that, good for her.
If it's called the Ray Gun Dance,
I don't know if that's what they call it or if they call it like breaking or whatever. But like when they show it side by side, I mean it's all.
That's not what you just did, Ethan. Is it?
What?
Did you just do the ray gun?
No, I just
did the Ethan.
I was just trying to keep you guys young.
Thank
That's
you.
all.
That's right. You're gonna have to work a little harder, but keep going.
The younger
I'll try my
demographic,
best.
like 18 to 25, tunes in. They go, "Oh, I heard wiki. That means this show's cool."
Yeah, exactly.
Hip and
what I do.
radical. Rad,
Exactly.
Rad.
It's very rad. They're on
Rad.
their skateboards.
What a dumb word.
They're like, "Hey, Tony Hawk." You know, they're saying things like that.
Yeah.
They're also
just saying words that are associated with things that might have been cool once.
when we were young. So she did the kangaroo hop. She did
Tony
the backwards
Hawk is
roll.
doing like arthritis commercials now.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Is it arthritis?
I don't know, but it's stuff that's like
Something that's
hey,
of
have you
age.
taken your
Stuff that
Metamucil?
shows your age.
Like, oh no.
He's like skating in, but he's got his walker. No, I'm kidding. Go on.
So if you loved Ray Gun and the
I wouldn't phrase it that way.
viral Olympic breakdancing that she did, then you might be interested in seeing Ray Gun the Musical, an Australian show that was set to debut this weekend. Problem is, Ray Gun herself had nothing to do with this show and has now sued the creators of Ray Gun the Musical. So we don't know if we'll ever actually get to see Ray Gun the Musical.
So I don't understand how these things work. Does she own the dance?
It's questionable because they're using her name and it's spelled weird too. So it's not like you could say, well, I'm just saying Reagan.
Yeah.
It's Raygun, all one word. So she's gotten her lawyers involved, and I don't know if she wants a piece of the action or if she's just saying, no, I'm embarrassed, don't do this.
She needs to let that stuff. It's not like the meme is ever going to go away. If she can make a penny off of it, she should make the penny off of it.
I would think so.
The crazy thing is that, and she's really pushed back against embracing this, is that even after the Olympics, there's some sort of world breakdancing committee out there. They put her as the #1 breakdancer in the world after this. So like, it's not. I think that she's in her mind, she's probably like, I'm fighting for my career and to go down and be great. And it's like, no,
I want to test a theory here.
Don't do that.
Based on what Ethan is saying about the people listing her as the #1 breakdancing person in the world, what the heck is even that? Let's start making lists of the most this, the worst that, the best ever, such and such, and see if we can just become featured places.
Yeah.
Come up with some sort of organization outside of our name.
It's kind of like Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yeah,
almost.
like who gets to determine who the best breakdancers are and in what stand? I mean, I understand breakdancing is not something that I can do. It takes skill. It takes talent.
Does
but
it?
like,
I mean, Reagan proved us wrong, I think.
well, maybe.
She didn't win, though.
But the point...
No, she didn't. She got eliminated like in the first round.
But I mean, the point being, somebody out there made a list and said she was the best, and we are talking about it.
Uh-huh.
We should do that, but in reverse.
Okay.
Let's just make up
Like
some bullcrap.
The Annie Fry Show podcast is the #1 and #2 most intense podcast in the entire world.
Factually speaking.
Factual speak, yeah. I mean, like the
course,
experts have
source.
spoken.
It's all objective.
Ryan Wiggins.
Source
Wiggins
Ethan.
America.
Yeah.
Source Ethan after Ryan's the one that
Yeah.
just said it.
Yeah.
Right. So
Multiple reports.
yeah, I mean, at this point, gosh, everybody's saying it. I'm going to try to play the whip here. We've had some technical difficulties, so we'll see if it turns on.
I just don't think it was that good of the story. I think the system is revolting. Oh, see,
Yeah,
it was
it
even
is.
quiet.
Yeah.
It was like, fine, I'll go.
Yeah, they said, "Oh, you're intense, huh?"
Felt obligated.
You guys should all continue to listen into the show today because this is our first day on the air.
Yeah.
Gosh.
This is our first broadcast ever.
Here's that quiet whip again.
I was not expecting that.
Telegraph the delivery. Everybody knows the joke's coming. All right, next one is comparing delivery apps. So, question: does anybody use food delivery apps in the room?
No, I'm opposed to it. I hate them. They cost way too much money.
They do cost a lot of money. Have you ever used them?
Yes.
No.
You
Once.
have.
Once.
Me
I've
too.
had
Once.
pizza delivered from the pizza store.
Wow, the pizza store.
Yep.
See, I use like
What would you call it?
The Pizza Hut app.
Pizza delivery restaurant.
Shut up. The PDR.
Yeah, that's PDR. Standard PDR.
Everybody knows. Top 10 PDRs.
Top 10 PDRs. Number
Multiple
one,
source reports.
Papa John's. All right. So if you have used delivery apps, you are not in this room, and you are costing yourself a lot of money. There was a study recently that showed the difference between delivery apps and gave you the ranking of which ones you should use if you're trying to save the most money. Problem is, the one that saves you the most money still has a markup of almost 70% on your meal.
I'm never that hungry for anything ever.
Yeah.
I'd
and
rather starve.
Uber Eats is the lowest markup at 69%. The next one up is Grubhub and DoorDash, and they're at about 80%.
So they're saying that if you order $10 worth of food, which is like not even a full meal anymore if you're getting something from someone, if you were to order a $10 order, that you're paying $17 to get it delivered to you?
Yes, on average. But
On
it can
average,
be more than that.
Does that include like the delivery? Because there's like delivery fees and travel charges. And
They're including everything.
Okay.
Total cost of if you were to drive through and get the thing yourself or whether they were to bring it to you.
I could see a scenario in my life where before I had kids, and if I was like, I used to work double shifts at the sports talk radio station in order, because I made no money and I needed money. So I would work my normal day shift and then I would stay and I would board up Illinois football, Illinois basketball, those types of things. If I were there the whole time and I was not able to leave the board, that I would pay to have food delivered to me as my only meal that day. But that kind of money, like a $17 meal, would be like 3 hours of work. At It'd be like, what should I do? Eat dinner or work the shift?
And when you're making that little or we are making hourly wages, you think of everything in those terms.
Yes.
How many hours is it going to take to pay off when I take
was
the bus
making
today?
$7 an hour in 2006 when I first started getting paid. It was like $7, maybe $7.50. Whatever it was, Illinois minimum wage was higher than what I was being paid. And this is not a knock on that radio gig at all. That's the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you got paid. And minimum wage in Illinois was higher, so I could have gone and worked at the local gas station and probably made $10 an hour or more at the local gas station. But the radio stations that I needed to invest my time in for a career, were in Webster Grove. So I was driving 55 minutes to go make less money than I ever possibly could. And you then begin to calculate everything in like $7.50.
Yeah, exactly.
But look at you now.
Well, I'm not. That's not even a joke.
Nope.
I mean, that's for real. And I encourage people to understand what you're investing your time in. That your time is sometimes valuable in the sacrifice. You're probably thinking that's what you're doing right here
I'm
now.
saying
that's what you're doing.
You have
You're
your
like,
own
one day you'll
show.
be like,
You get to work with Ryan
I was sloughing in on
Wiggins
the
every
Annie
day.
Fry show when I was a kid, and look at me now, broadcaster for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Easy.
For real. It's real. It's not a joke.
Everyone has a dream.
Only do it if Ryan is there with me. We could broadcast together.
Last one before we get to the top of the hour is professional back scratchers are a real thing.
Like
And-
people?
Yes. And they
Ew.
travel around to probably very rich people, and they
Brad
just
just
do.
put his hand in the air like he's one of them.
Oh, really? Is that
Did
what
you
you were
see
saying?
that?
That's exactly
Did
what
you
he's
see that?
doing.
You said professional back scratchers are a real thing, and he went like this.
Oh, I thought he said it after I said rich people.
I thought he was meaning like he only believes in using his index finger to scratch people.
What I was doing was telling you we had 1 minute left, but if you guys want to pay me,
don't talk about that. That has nothing to do with it.
if you want to pay me to scratch your back, I'll do it.
Okay.
$20 is $20.
Brian's like
Not
this whole
enough, no.
time.
Just clear. I want to point out the whole article says like every other paragraph. It goes. Keep in mind, not sexual. Like over and over and over.
Yeah,
It
how
keeps
many
reminding
times?
you.
I think on the second time you're saying that, you realize everybody thinks it's
Everybody
sexual.
thinks that's what this is. Apparently, it's not. And man, I tell you what, I wouldn't mind having me a nice back scratch every now and then.
But nothing sexual.
Nothing sexual about it though.
Nothing what?
Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan.
Steve Moore, Congressman Bost. Amazingly. Next. Don't go away.
We've been hearing so long about government mandates all these years. It's coming true unless something changes this year yet. Then maybe it could be stopped. If not, homeowners, if you need an air conditioner, if your air conditioner is old now, get the equipment that you can still get before they say you can't have it. Not to scare you, they scared you. I'm just saying the equipment we have right now, unbelievably better than what you have because your equipment's 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 years old. So if you're looking and if your system's that old or if people are saying it's old and you new, I'm not going to waste your time. But if you call me, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois, the easiest of numbers. All right. So it's not the easiest. I have forgotten the number, even as many times as I put it up. But 314-293-2600 or go to the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
I know we're all busy. We're working, we're running errands, trying to take care of the kids. It's really easy to put things off. One thing you do not want to put off, though, your annual eye exam. The doctors at Ophthalmology Associates not only gave me the most thorough eye exam I've ever had, but they're also experts in the diagnosis and treatment of all diseases of the eye. Everything from dry eye to macular degeneration and cataracts. Think about this. Your eye health is the window into your overall body health. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranja Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Berry, they can look at your eyes and even tell in some cases if you have early stage diabetes, heart disease, lung problems, even some forms of cancer. They're called the doctors' doctors because they've treated more than 250 doctors. The best part about this is that most insurance plans cover the cost of your annual eye exam. Set up your appointment today, 314-966-5000. Again, 314-966-5000 or go to youreyedoc.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. A possible killer is captured. I'm Lisa Brady. The man believed to be the gunman who killed the United Healthcare CEO in New York City last week is found today in Pennsylvania.
Members of the Altoona Police Department arrested Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old male, on firearms charges. At this time, he is believed to be our person of interest in the brazen targeted murder of Brian Thompson.
NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch says a combination of old school detective work and new age technology led to the capture. Mangione was recognized by a McDonald's employee. Police also just confirming he was carrying a gun consistent with the weapon used in last week's killing.
So right now, the information we're getting from Altoona is that the gun appears to be a ghost gun, may have been made on a 3D printer.
NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenney says ballistics testing will continue. He says Mangione also had writings demonstrating an ill will toward corporate America, though police are still not yet confirming a motive. Mangione is from Maryland. He'll remain in custody in Pennsylvania for now. A Marine veteran is acquitted in the New York chokehold death case.
Jurors in the trial of Daniel Penny found him not guilty of criminally negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely. The more serious charge of manslaughter had been dismissed during deliberations on Friday because the jury deadlocked on that count. Penny was accused of causing Neely's death by putting him in a chokehold for almost 6 minutes on a subway train scene in May 2023 after Neely entered the car and acted erratically, yelling at passengers. Neely was unarmed. Penny's lawyers say he was protecting himself and others, while prosecutors said he went too far.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers, Neely's father, is suing Penny. The Biden administration vowing not to let ISIS use instability to reestablish capabilities in Syria, where the Assad regime fell to rebels over the weekend. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
The official 97.1 FM Talk Weather Center forecast, clouds and sun, a rather mild afternoon. High today 58, clouds and a bit cooler tonight, low 35. Partly sunny, cool day tomorrow, the high 41. Partly cloudy tomorrow night and a low 31. A couple of flurries on Wednesday morning, otherwise partly sunny and cold. High on Wednesday afternoon, 38. I'm Steve Williams for 97.1 FM Talk.
Air Comfort Service wants to make sure your comfort zone is right there, accessible all the time, especially this holiday season when you, A, may be home more often, or B, maybe inviting more people into your home more frequently. AirComfortService.com is the website. If you want to get a hold of them at 314-513-0091, that's 314-513-0091. You quickly will understand why so many people in St. Louis have gone to them for their HVAC needs, including myself. For multiple times. A new furnace, a new air conditioner, new water heater, I had the ventilation all sealed up in my house so that the air is going where it needs to be. Reach out to them right now if you have noticed any sort of heating or cooling issues in your home. They are offering an awesome deal. If you replace your entire HVAC system, you are going to get for free either attic insulation or an air scrubber. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. This can absolutely help you make sure that your comfort zone is there for you the entire cold winter season. If you have allergy sufferers in your home, an air scrubber will improve your indoor air quality by removing up to 99% of surface and airborne contaminants. Call them at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091, or hit them up online at aircomfortservice.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them, to see someone that is in pain. I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
At Hampton Manor of Wentzville, they go the extra step to make sure their residents feel special. Mark Cox here from my friends at Hampton Manor. I recently stopped by there. You know, their veterans are celebrated with special recognitions, including special pastries created by their pastry chef. They have their own private chef. They'll even feed you lunch if you stop by for a visit at this great senior living community off the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. Schedule your appointment today at WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com.
When the weather is the story is on 97.1 with live local updates and up-to-date forecasts from 97.1 Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. Your local source for what's important. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Put in place, the benefits of those things are going to be seen in 2 years, in 4 years. And so we are handing off the strongest economy in history to the next administration. And the hope is that, there will be continued investments in that way.
So when you listen to the acting labor secretary saying they're handing off the strongest economy in history to Donald Trump, how do we feel about that? Are you feeling that in your own personal situation? A lot of people voted according to a disagreement with that statement. Let's get directly to our next guest. Steve Moore is with us, a distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation and advisor to President Trump and his book, The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again, which makes me think that maybe there's some work, some improvement to be done. Steve, welcome back. Happy holiday season to you. What do you think about that statement?
You too. Well, I haven't been able to stop smiling for the last month. So, and by the way, I think there is some truth to what the labor sector is saying. I mean, people are really upbeat now. I mean, people are so confident. They are feeling optimistic. People are happy that this change is coming. And even, I don't know if you've noticed this, Annie, but even my Democratic friends are feeling optimistic about things, And did you see Trump has the highest approval rating he's ever had right now? It's amazing. So change is coming. This past administration was fairly disastrous. I think they will go down in history. In fact, I was just doing an interview with a reporter, and I said, they were asking me about, Biden's legacy, and it will be the 3 Ds, debt, deficits, and declining incomes. And so it is not a healthy economy, but I think it's going to get healthy really fast, and I'm really optimistic about the things that we're going to do. We're going to cut taxes. We're going to produce more American energy. We're going to deregulate the economy. We're going to get that border secure. Tom Homan, do you know Tom Homan? He's border. He's the border czar who is actually going to be a border czar. But he's ready to go. He's already, it's amazing. It's only a month since the election. He hasn't even been confirmed yet. He's been to the border about 10 times. How many times did Kamala Harris go to the border?
Yeah.
Maybe once?
Yeah. As evidence is your non-border czar statement there.
Yeah. So this is, it is preposterous for the labor secretary to say that this is a strong economy. It's an economy that has seen people lose income, lose faith in the country, and that's why they overwhelmingly voted for change. And so it's coming. Change is coming. Great America. It's, as Reagan would say, it's morning in America.
Yes, and it's wonderful. Like you, so many people right now, you just have a little extra pep in your step, a little extra smile to walk around with. Every time I remember Trump won, it is like Christmas morning. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned some other big concerns that Donald Trump needs to address on day one of taking the oath of office on January 20th. You advise on tax policy, you advise on economic policy all the time. But how much do these other issues, you mentioned the border, other things out there, how much does Donald Trump's thumbprint on the whole wide variety of policies that he needs to confront, how much of that does come back to affect the American economy?
Well, the issue now is going to be what are his top priorities, because, there's about 100 things he wants to do, but he has to prioritize them. And I think the tax cut is going to be, making sure that we get that done. And so that Americans don't feel a big because remember, if we don't get that done, people are going to face a gigantic tax increase, this year.
The extension of them,
The do nothing option is not an option. So that'll be a top priority. We can start drilling through executive orders right away. We can pull America out of some of these un-America treaties like the Paris Climate Accord. So it'll need, and I've been around, the folks at the transition. I mean, everybody's just chomping at the bit to get going here. I mean, Trump especially. I mean, he cannot wait to January 20. He's like a kid waiting for Christmas. He just can't wait to get the economy, back going. And it's really interesting. There was I think it was in the Wall Street Journal and New York Times today, a big story about how angry a lot of liberals are because they feel like, Biden's just letting Trump essentially act as president, a month before he's actually sworn in as president. But it's going to be, look, and there's going to be bump on the roads. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I remember when Reagan was elected president, the first year he was in office, we had a bad recession that he had to deal with. So, it takes some time to get things back in order. And let's face it, we added so much money to our debt. It's going to take years to get that, drain that out of the system.
Yeah. They haven't had problems with Joe Biden letting other people run the country. I guess they just have a problem with the other person in America decided to have in that position take over. I wanted to ask you about Trump's cabinet picks, specifically ones that really have an ability to affect economic policy. If we're talking about the Treasury Secretary, OMB, Commerce, Labor, all of these. Yeah. How do you feel about Donald Trump's picks so far in his economic portions of his cabinet?
Well, it's the A-team, no question about it. Scott Bessent is fantastic. He's a good friend of mine. He's going to be the Treasury Secretary and going to get the tax bill done. And my friend Kevin Hassett will be running the economic office. And, then you've got, let's see, who's the labor? Oh, the labor secretary, not so.
Chavez DeRemer.
Yeah, but I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
And then, but the Commerce Secretary is going to, who is the Commerce Secretary?
Lutnick.
Oh, yeah, Lutnick is fine. And we've got, so it's a great team of people. And, the people who are working with him in the Oval Office, just spectacular. And, I'm excited about this. So I really do think we could see. And, I forgot to mention, one of the most important things is the Doge. Beware of the Doge, as they say. And that is, what Vivek and Elon are doing. And I'm helping them a little bit. I hope that we can save hundreds of billions of dollars to bring down our debt and just get rid of the waste and the inefficiency and the duplication. And there's hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud payments. Let's get that money back.
Yeah. One of the things, I'm glad you brought up Doge. I just think it's so funny that a meme has now become like maybe the thing that will save the country. But I heard Vivek Ramaswamy say, there are going to be people who are going to lose their government jobs out of this. But he said something that I think you might be able to speak to. He said, I'm hoping that these people can get out of government work and find even more success in the private sector. What is he talking about when he says that?
Well, when you're doing something, look, a lot of government employees are just paper pushing right now, and I'm not here to demean public employees, but a lot of the jobs are just, just meaningless jobs. And, nobody really wants to. And I live in the swamp. I know people work for the government, and it's not that fulfilling. It really isn't because you're not really accomplishing much. So you go into a private business, you get things done, you're accomplishing things, you're making a difference in people's lives. I agree with Vivek. And by the way, we've got 90% of the federal employees aren't even working in the office full time.
And we're heating those buildings, we're protecting those buildings and spending a ton of money to do that.
Let's sell them off.
Last question before we let you go. We know you only have about a minute left here. I always talk about we're in St. Louis. Chicago is driving my state of Illinois. Are these economic policies at a federal level going to help even those people in blue cities and blue states?
Well, yeah, yes, but, because the macro economy affects everyone. But, when you got poor leadership in these cities, like what's happening in Chicago is so tragic. It's just terrible leadership. It just drags down a place. And, I think you can make an argument that Brandon Johnson is the worst mayor in America.
Yeah.
And he's just, and I love, this, I love Chicago. It's where I grew up, a world-class city, but I just see it deteriorating. The schools are terrible. There people being shot. Everything's being blamed on racism. And it's the fact that you've just got poor governance there. But yeah, look, the macro situation for all the states is going to improve radically, and I think it's going to happen quickly.
Oh, well, we're looking forward to it. Steve Moore, thank you for your time today. We appreciate it. Keep smiling. We'll talk to you again in a week or so.
Thanks, Annie.
Take care. Bye-bye. Steve Moore is a distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation and economic advisor to President-elect Donald J. Trump. He is also author of the book, The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again. We had a limited amount of time with him there, and Ender asked the question about tariffs. I've probably had, and I know a minimum of 2 conversations with him since tariffs has been, I think it's been since the election, where I've asked him about that. And if you want to find that, easily you can go to anniefryshow.com/podcast. The playlist is there where you can listen to all of our podcasts, or just search the podcast if you are a podcast consumer. I think we live in especially here with News Talk Radio or with Talk Radio or whatever we're supposed to call ourselves now, we have an audience that is super, super plugged into podcasts. But we also have an audience that is like, I've been listening to the radio forever, and I get what I need there. If you're not really a podcast person, if you go to anniefryshow.com/podcast, you can just click a player and play it. And you don't have to go through how do I subscribe? Where do they go? What do I do to listen? But we have talked with Steve Moore quite a bit about tariffs, and he will always say, and if I would have asked him that here again today in this conversation about the tariffs, he'd say, Annie, I'm a free trade guy. He's not Mr., fist pounding on the table, tariff. But Kristen Welker in that interview with Donald Trump on Meet the Press this past weekend asked about that. And, Donald Trump says tariff is a beautiful word. Mm-hmm. He loves it. He loves it as a negotiating tool. But he also, it was one of the things that impressed me the most out of that interview. How much of that did you consume?
Half of it, maybe. But in bites or in full? Both.
Okay. So there's one point where she's talking about tariffs, and she's like, a lot of people are saying are you prepared to put tariffs into play here? And then the American people are going to have to pay. A lot of her questions are statements. Yeah. And then, but I thought I'm going to give her just an inch of credit here and say that she pushed in a way that I think that a respectful people first press should ask questions and push back and make elected leaders explain themselves. And I thought she did a really good job of it. We get really wrapped up regularly in the idea that they don't do it for the other side. But I would rather see, if you just take the Meet the Press interview with Kristen Welker, I would rather see that be the standard bearer of journalism in America, where she asks questions like that from Donald Trump and allows him to answer and push back and correct where he needs to be, and she asks follow-up questions. I would rather that be the standard and then have that be applied to the Joe Bidens of the world and the Kamala Harrises of the world. I don't want the media and the press to treat Donald Trump the way they treated Joe Biden, because they were advocates. The press is supposed to be for us. We don't want the press to be for the Republicans. We want them to be for the people, because that's the only way Republicans are going to be able to hold the Republican Party accountable, is if we have people willing to ask questions of these elected officials, or those who want to be elected officials, where they have to actually answer to us. But on the tariff thing, Ryan, he said she was pushing back like, this is going to make costs go super, super high. He goes, well, that's not true. You're missing a part of the story. And then he goes into a very specific, he's like, Ohio, Whirlpool, because she made the conversation about people are going to have to pay more for their laundry machines and so on and so forth. He goes, Whirlpool in Ohio was going out of business. They were going bankrupt. China and South Korea were dumping washing machines into our country for next to nothing. It's putting Whirlpool out of the business. Whirlpool became a profitable, successful company because basically what he's saying is he's evened the playing field. And he goes, we saved all of those jobs. We saved all of those American jobs. And we have quality products coming out of Whirlpool. We gave a very specific, detailed response. Yeah. To Kristen Welker trying to freak everybody out, going, costs are going to go up on everything.
Yeah, it's such a fine conversation to have, in that there are a lot of points to it. And one of the biggest ones is that Donald Trump uses tariffs not just for economic reasons. He uses them as threats. Yeah. He uses them to get things done in other ways, because the economy of this country is the biggest in the world, and he knows that. And so when he uses tariffs, a lot of times he threatens them and never has to use them. And then when he does, there are other tangible benefits to using them that he brought up in that instance that don't get talked about. So is there a concern that it could raise price? If he were to do unilateral tariffs across everything like he says, yeah, that would be a concern. But of course, that's not the way it's going to play out.
You're welcome to stay in for this next conversation if you so choose, because Congressman Mike Bost is going to be on with us. And
Great.
Brad, my understanding is that he was in the meeting
Yes.
with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yes.
Talking
he
about
was in there.
Doge. Is it not the funniest thing ever that Doge is just a word we use now for government?
For government cutting?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just like, I don't even... Is it crypto? What is it?
So Doge started out as a dog meme. It's like a Shibu Inu or whatever dog, and they would just put it on there and they just said Doge, D-O-G-E, and it became wildly...
Why?
Because the internet is weird. This isn't that like the Wild West days of the internet.
But was it an Elon Musk thing?
And then
Or did he
Elon
just-
Musk took that and turned it into a crypto coin.
So no, but the meme existed.
The meme existed.
This Doge dog existed.
Yes.
Elon Musk liked it,
Liked it. Yeah.
turned it into a thing.
Dogecoin.
A Dogecoin.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
You don't have to. It doesn't matter.
Why is this not a Scooter's black tea coin?
Yeah. Hey, you
Can
can
I
do
sell
that.
this for $50 million like the Tua girl?
You can. You might need to get Scooters involved to call it the Scooters Black Tea Coin.
Man, I'm trying.
But
Go to Scooters and tell him Annie sent you.
or
do
just
me a favor.
Google Black Tea Coin.
Yeah.
And we created that. That's ours now.
It's probably racist.
Yeah, right.
It's probably how we get canceled.
Right. If people go, they didn't even know they were saying this.
I just said it because it was the first thing in front of my face, and it was either that or mouse. So
how about this one? Tiny Cup Coin.
Tiny Cup Coin.
It's my tiny cup.
Dude, if we can make it happen, I don't get it.
It's got a nice ring to it.
I don't get it. Selling like digital images and stuff.
You don't
like,
have to get it.
I don't.
You can just be the public face for the coin that goes up to $1 billion and then shoots down to zero. Because that's the plan.
All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to speak with Congressman Mike Bost on his meeting with Vivek and Elon Musk. The Congress met with them, and I'm going to ask him specifically, is this going to be a bipartisan effort for real, for real? Our friend Congressman Mike Bost next. Don't go away.
You're a bad banana with a greasy
This is the
black
Annie Fry Show.
heel.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
TheDiamondShop.net. Ooh, you're going to like what you see when you go into the Diamond Shop. Is so pretty in there. All of the things sparkle. Heck, when you go into the Diamond Shop, you sparkle. I appreciate their commitment to the long-term relationship that is developed between a customer, a client, and a jeweler. Because when you're buying something that's supposed to be timeless, you're going to want to make sure you have a good relationship with a place that you can rely on, that they're going to be there. They're not going to go out of business and because they were giving away everything for free, and then great deals, but then they're not there when you need your less than great quality jewelry to be attended to or maybe make the next purchase. The Diamond Shop's been around in St. Louis since 1910. They've been around the block a few times. They're located in Clayton, and your savings is pretty significant on beautiful, beautiful pieces that can now fit in your budget, because all this December up to Christmas Eve, 40% off all in-stock jewelry. 40% off all in-stock jewelry, plus an extra 10% if you become a VIP online. Just visit them, scroll to the bottom of the page at thediamondshop.net.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Triton Exteriors. If you're younger than me, you may not have ever really experienced truly great customer service. You will with Triton Exteriors. We're a James Hardy siding company. We have a huge color selection. We do fences. We do pretty much everything on the exteriors. We have a great reputation. We have tons, 800 positive online reviews with Angie's List. Great with the BBB. Call 314-717-1159 or book online at triton-stl.com.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy houses direct and as is condition. Did you just inherit a house and you're not sure what to do with it? Maybe it's got a lot of stuff in there and you're really not sure what to do with the stuff and how to sell the house. Well, we do a lot of work with people that inherited property. We're very familiar with the probate courts. So if you have a house you just inherited, please reach out today. We'd love to make you an offer and simplify your real estate situation. KLAMEN Group.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Dwayne Patterson. If Joe Biden is trying to dish out pardons like he's a giant Pez dispenser and is just flipping these things out left, right, and sideways, why doesn't he just pardon every federal employee on his way out the door?
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Want to take government agencies from 428 to 99. Can it be done?
We certainly hope so. We want to be willing partners in that, and we have a new ability to do this now. Remember, the Supreme Court overturned the Chevron doctrine, right? That's a game-changing kind of situation. Not in my lifetime, but we had the opportunity to go in and really take back control from the administrative state. For a long time, they've been acting as judge, jury, and executioner on the rules that they make on industries and small business owners and the rest. So we have the ingredients, we have the conditions right now to actually be able to make really dramatic change. And
want to take government aid.
428 agencies down to 99. Are you kidding me? That is quite a dramatic cut. And that's what DOJ is looking to do with all of those dollars that the federal government is spending from you. Well, let's talk to somebody who was there, was able to take part in this conversation. It's great to have you back on the show, Congressman Bost. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me on.
You're the congressman for Illinois' 12th District. You're the chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. So you do definitely have an interest in how money is spent on behalf of the American people. Let us know what you think of the meeting, the DOJ meeting.
Well, first off, so many times in government that I've been involved, everybody says it ought to be run more like a business. Well, how better than just to bring it to people that have been very, very, very successful in business. And now understand that they're an advisory board the way it is right now. But if they put it out in the public and then we can't do it, then we better be able to explain why we can't do it. So it gives an opportunity for us to springboard to make those reductions because it's very, very tough. Politically, people will want to try to put pressure one way or another, depending on what the agency is or everything that we're trying to do. We're coming up with some really unique ideas, I think, some things that are sensible. Right now, since COVID went away, unfortunately, we still have office buildings that nobody's showing up to. So then the question is, are you doing your job if you're not showing up? And if you're doing it from home, then why do we have a building that we're paying a lease on? Where can we save money there? What programs, regardless of what agency is in, that we're looking for, are successful, are not successful, or just been an opportunity to shuffle money around and keep people employed as federal agents, federal government workforce? And the rumors have been out there for years about those post office jobs. Not at your local post office, but they only go to the post office, pick up their check, and go home. So, those are the type of things we've got to look at and try to thin down. And I think going through it with a fine-tooth comb with this group, we will be able to save more than we've ever seen before.
Well, it's very fascinating to watch this take shape. We're speaking with Congressman Mike Bost, Illinois' 12th District Representative in the House of Representatives. I'm looking here in that conversation with Speaker Johnson and Martha McCallum, 428 agencies down to 99 agencies. One of the conversations we've had on this show is, I wonder how much government can be cut before the American taxpayer even notices that government has been cut.
True. When we say we're going to have a government shutdown, and I hate those, I don't think they're wise at all. But when we have the government shutdown, the first day is always the best day of a government shutdown because it takes quite some time to start reaching the average Joe with a government shutdown. Now, if you are in the center of government, that government shutdown affects you pretty quickly. But then there's the question of just right there, what are the agencies that don't really do anything, or they're created just to have an agency? There's one of the big talks is the Department of Education. And you got to remember that we didn't have a Department of Education in the United States until Jimmy Carter made a deal with the teachers' unions. And now, was there certain elements of the government that dealt with education? There was, but there was not a Department of Education. And it doesn't have a real good history, regardless of whether it's a Republican or Democrat, as you go through. Why is that? It's because the states do it better and the locals do it better. So just having some agency in D.C. to give recommendations to try to think that if you educating a child in New York is the same thing as educating a child in O'Fallon.
Yeah.
It's just not. Okay. And so these are the type of things we need to look at and become sensibly, understand that the taxpayers. Now, let me tell you, we're going to make sure that we do the things that according to the Constitution, we're supposed to do. One, we have to provide for national defense, okay? Wisely provide for national defense. Two, I believe with that, then we need to take care of our veterans wisely, not bureaucrats, but veterans. There's a difference, okay? Three, another agency that's out there that, or another thing we have to do by the Constitution is control our borders. So those are the things that you can see that we need to protect. Other than that, interstate commerce, it's required under the Constitution. So you look at that. There's a very few agencies that are actually supposed to be ran by the federal government. They're supposed to be ran by the states and local governments.
Congressman Bost, this is Ryan Wiggins. As I understand it, Doge working with Congress is a great thing because we talked last time about how they need, anything spending related. They're going to need to work with you guys, which is why you're talking to them. But concerning personnel, we keep hearing that they're going to slash agencies and get rid of people. Is that something that the president, either through Doge or with a stroke of a pen, can do on his own, or is that something he also needs to talk to Congress about?
Yeah, there's some he can. There's some he can do or they can do on their own. First off, they can't do it. They can advise either the administration or Congress to do it. Now, understand, this is kind of like a blue ribbon task force with a little more, it has the media power, okay? So, but it's still, Congress has the power of the purse. So if you're going to reduce agencies, cut personnel, everything like that, there are certain administrative rules that the president can do, but many things are going to be required of Congress and individual committees that have oversight over each one of these agencies that might need to be reduced, line items taken out, programs changed or gotten rid of. The list goes on and on.
We're speaking with Congressman Mike Bost right now. Here he is representing the Illinois' 12th District, and he is also the chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. I'm wondering, Congressman, you work with the veterans, of course, maybe on that level, but also on a broader level. Doge needs to happen in order to reduce government spending. Is there a place that has been neglected significantly where you see government spending making a remarkable increase with this next Congress?
Well, what I see as not markable increases, I see that we'll make the investment in the border, like I said. I believe that we're going to wisely check over the Department of Defense and the VA. Now, let me explain this so that your listeners don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Not reducing any benefits for the veterans, giving them the quality medical and or veteran services that were guaranteed to them, and owed to them because of their time of service. Now, the advantage that also we have is we don't have a administration that wants to block us from getting rid of bureaucracy. And the thing is that the choice for Doug Collins for the secretary, and the Senate, I hope, approves very quickly, because he and I will be working hand in hand, going through line item together along with those, and not reducing, once again, not reducing benefits, but sure reducing over a tremendous amount of waste that does exist in the VA and direct it to the areas where the veterans are.
Another question we have here from somebody who's listening to us here in the St. Louis area says, or not a question, it's a statement. I would like your reaction to it. When DOGE cuts Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, people will notice. Your thoughts?
Here's my statement on that. That person that just said that was probably a Democrat, because that's the same line Democrats always use when Republicans get in power. First off, Republicans have never cut Social Security or Medicare. I tell you who did cut Medicare. Barack Obama, when he created when he created Obamacare. That is the first time there was ever cuts to any of those services. Now, here's the real statement, though. Do we need to work together in a bipartisan manner to figure out the long term for both of those programs? Because here's the reality. Right now, the actuarials that were put in place when Social Security and Medicare were put in place, the average life expectancy was like 58 years old, 59 years old, which means you were paying in, but you weren't going to draw. Well, that isn't the case anymore. Now it's like 74 years old, 75, and it's increasing all the time. So what's happening is we're spending more money than we're bringing in, and we put people on Social Security that never paid in. So what we really need to do is start looking at the long-term cure, because I want to save it for those people who are due right now, but I want to save it for my children and grandchildren. So there's a program out there that's sensible. Right now, what we're doing is it's kind of like the guy that jumped off the top of the Empire State Building. And when he went by past the 30th floor, they said, "How's everything going?" He said, "Great so far." Because one of these days it's going to hit the ground. And if we don't sit together and come together with some solution so that they can have those benefits, all of a sudden one day we're going to wake up and go, "Yep, it's over."
Congressman Bost, this is an interesting way of putting it. So just to be clear here, you're saying that the Republicans who now have the majority in the House, in the Senate, and they have the Oval Office, you're not looking to cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. You're looking to preserve it.
We are not looking to cut Medicare, Medicaid, or Medicare or Social Security, which is all under our purview. We are wanting to preserve it because this needs to be preserved to our children and grandchildren and thereon. But it needs to be recalculated based on the fact that lives have changed. The amount of time that we work have changed. The amount of time we would spend. You can't pay in. You can't draw from Social Security the amount of years that you pay in and then expect it to continue to work. Okay, it's got to be able to have enough time to collect interest.
Congressman Bost, is there anything bigger picture, since we're talking about that now, that you guys, either DOGE is bringing to you or you're talking with them about, that really will significantly reduce national debt, spending like we haven't seen before? Because we all agree on we need to get, the funding for snails walking backwards on treadmills and stuff like that kind of stuff's great.
I do want to see that.
But, okay, we won't cut that one.
But the shrimp running on a treadmill is pretty good.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is the stuff that makes the headlines with Rand Paul and everybody. But is there any big picture, like, no, we really need to address like some big issue spending stuff?
Sure. We need to make sure that, look, over 60% of our budget is those areas where it's mandatory spending. Okay, how do we bring the mandatory spending over to and or a place where we still remain mandatory, but make sure that spending is done wisely? The answer is yes, we can, but it's going to take a lot of work. And I'm going to tell you, I'm willing to work. Trust me. But it is big. We can talk about the things that you were just talking about, and yes, we can. I don't believe that just in the non-mandatory. I want to work real hard. I don't see us getting the $2 trillion. Was it $2 trillion that they said we'd hit? Yeah. I don't know how you do that on only the non-mandatory side.
Congressman Bost, before we let you go, we appreciate your time as you represent Illinois' 12th District right here on the east side within our listening area here in St. Louis. I've heard people maybe criticize a little bit the Musk, the Ramaswamy, non-elected people who are coming in to make some very dramatic changes to our fiscal situation. At least that's the plan. How does this work? How do Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy function in the Democratic Republic that we have?
I'm glad you asked, because here's the reality. As I said, though it's a little stronger than a blue ribbon task force, it's an advisory board. The advisory board does not take the power of the administration nor the power of the Congress. It does not have the ability to handle the purse or the administration thereof. And so therefore, everything that they give will be advice. Now, the advantage that they have is they have the media and the public's ear to, once they give the advice, if we can't do it, we're going to have to explain why.
Yeah. So the people of Illinois' 12th District still have their voice be heard through your representation.
You're still represented by a member of Congress, and you're going to continue to do that. We're not changing the Constitution in any way, shape, or form. We're just taking business advice.
Well, Congressman, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your transparency here. And we're going to look forward to following up with you as this very new way of looking at government spending. We're cutting. Wow. We've not had this discussion very much. We're excited to see where it goes.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yes.
True. Thank you, Congressman. We'll talk to you
Thank
again
you.
soon.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Take care. A quick break. When we come back, let's get to the poll question, have a little discussion about this. The question we're asking you on the Annie Fry YouTube channel is, who should be deported? It's a big conversation. Just to sidestep that a little bit, and this was something that Donald Trump talked about in the Meet the Press interview with Kristen Welker. You know, when people talk about who should be pardoned with the January 6th situation, there's like everybody should just pardon everybody. If you were there, you're pardoned. You got away with whatever you did. If you were good, you're bad, whatever. Lump, pardon, moving on. Other people think you should do it surgically, look at each individual case, and other people think nobody should be pardoned. If you were there and you got in trouble, you got in trouble. On a much even more broad scale, with the immigration situation in our country and the encouragement of so many people to come here. Remember when Joe Biden said in the debate, didn't he say, come? Didn't he tell people to come across the southern border when he was trying to become the president in 2020? The policy of the Biden administration has encouraged people to flood across our southern border. Does that matter? Maybe it does to you, maybe it doesn't to you. Who should be deported? On the Annie Fry YouTube channel, in the live chat of our current live broadcast, which you'll see if you pull up the Annie Fry YouTube channel, you can answer every illegal immigrant. Get them out of here. If you're here illegally, you're gone. Doesn't matter your age, how long you've been here. If you came here illegally, you're gone. That's option number one. We have criminals, and I have in parentheses there something to the effect of other than illegal entry, because I know, and I am of the mind, that if you broke the law to come here, that is a criminal act. But there are people who came here who have been a contributing member of society since they've been here. They've paid taxes. That is the crime that they committed. I'm talking about those who have committed crimes other than the act of coming here illegally. It's the best. I thought about it for a long time. It's the best way I could sum it up. The third choice is your more recent immigrants. I didn't define what that time of recent is. It's up to you to determine what it is. Vote for that and leave a comment if you think that people who have come here more recently are those that we should deport. And the last one is, you don't think that anyone should be deported. Leave them alone. America is for everybody. Annie Fry YouTube channel, come vote. We have 342 votes on the poll so far, which is pretty impressive halfway through the show. But we need you to have your voice heard. Get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel and vote. We'll have that discussion with the crew when we come back. Don't go away.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Tale of two people here. My wife and I am not on a diet. I don't know if you know that. We talk about the things I eat on a regular basis here, and I am not on a diet.
Can you play the breaking news sounder real quick, Brad?
My wife happens to be on a very strict one right now.
Nice.
Oh, there we go.
Breaking news.
And is just craving Andrea's steak. And not just steak. I mean, she's coming to me like all the time going, can we go to Andrea's tonight? So we're going as often as we possibly can to Andrea's because it is the best steak. And if you're craving a steak, whether you are not on a diet like me, or you are and you're eating a lot of protein like my wife is right now, go to Andrea's and experience what it means to just indulge, because it is a fantastic meal. Now, your sides are all included. A lot of restaurants don't do that anymore, but you're going to get your baked potato and your salad and everything included with your steak at Andrea's. If you've never been, now is the time to not only get their Andrea's sauce, but their salad dressing, their barbecue sauce. You can get those in a holiday pack, but you can get them all right there at the restaurant as well. Go to Andrea's. It's in Fairview Heights, O'Fallon, Illinois. Make the drive if you're from Missouri. This is a great time of year to do it. Christmas parties, whatever you got. Andreas.com.
If you're thinking of getting new hardwood, carpet, laminate, or vinyl flooring at one of those big box or discount stores, put it on hold. As in Reinhold. Reinhold Flooring, covering St. Louis and beyond since 1988. Residential or builder, you'll find everything you need in our showroom on Telegraph. When it comes to investing in your home, you want the best in carpet, laminate, vinyl flooring, or area rugs. Put those others on hold with Reinhold Flooring. Stop by Telegraph Road or learn more at reinholdflooring.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9-MILLION.
Financial health is more than just really the investments. You have to look at tax consequences. You have to think about legacy planning or generational planning or your healthcare options. Those all go together with your financial health.
Join Matt Goolsby for Retire Hour to hear his team in finance, healthcare, estate, and taxes discuss changes in law, strategic planning, and answer listener questions. Submit your questions to be answered live on air at retirehour.com. Retire Hour, Sundays at 7 a.m., right here on KFTK.
We mentioned that poll. We're asking you to vote in it. Who should be deported? 4 different options there. Take a look by logging on to YouTube and typing in Annie Fry. Not only will the live stream come up, but that poll, as is every day, and you can vote there. We're discussing that here in just a minute. 1:48, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
It's Kim St. Ange, and we've got your chance to win big. Listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show all this week for your chance to see Styx and Kevin Cronin at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. That's this week from 5 to 9 on the Mark Cox Morning Show right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I'm going. Guess I really went and messed it up again. Now my baby's goner than the Tulsa wind. Judging by the stone sober state I'm in, need to crack one wide open. Somebody pour me a drink. Somebody bum me a smoke.
It's time. What are you waiting on?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I don't even have my headphones on yet. Is Ethan staying in here for this? No, he's going.
Nah, I told him he couldn't.
Yeah, I was gone making a lean cuisine for 2 minutes, and you made decisions like that?
I was like, go get Annie and stall her.
Yeah. Knock her over, tackle her. I need 10 minutes to say some things. Our YouTube live chat poll for today is who should be deported. Ethan will be giving us those results at the end of the show. We got 361 votes so far today. That's fantastic. Great feedback. I'm curious to hear what y'all are going to comment about this, because this, to me, is going to be contentious politically once things start going, because I think that Donald Trump is not going to be as rigid as Republicans want him to be on this issue.
Yeah, I think that interview he just did with Kristen Welker was almost him setting that up, because he was saying things that got a lot of headlines. If you saw the news this weekend, if you didn't see the whole interview, a lot of the headlines were about, Donald Trump wants to deport anchor babies and dreamers and people that legally have status to be here. And so people say, well, you can't do that. Well, what he's doing is probably setting up a deal, I mean, in my opinion, that says, well, okay, we'll allow everybody in this whatever category, and I don't know what that'll be, to stay if we change the law for the future.
But
that's, to me, where he's going.
That's what a leader needs to do. You need to be willing to do things that you do need to be willing to compromise, but it has to be a good compromise. And people who are listening to him say something that seems anything less than rigid also need to remember the name Tom Homan. Tom Homan being the border czar, which is not something that has to go through any sort of senatorial confirmation process. He's the border czar. He's been put in charge of fixing our southern border, is saying we are absolutely opposed to separating families. They can all leave together. We won't stop them. And in that interview with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press, Donald Trump, she was like, are you going to separate families to some extent? I don't remember how she specifically asked the question, but he's like, no, we don't ever want to do that. You might see families that say, you know, dad's going to go, but the rest of us are going to stay, so on and so forth. He goes, we don't want to separate families, but that'll be on them. And the situation is, yes, families will be separated, but it's their choice. And that is such a simple, basic concept. Why has nobody said that before?
It is amazing, isn't it?
Like, families don't have to be separated.
Right.
We'll facilitate families to be together. Not here.
Right.
And Tom Homan has been very straightforward on that.
Yeah, that whole interview to me was because people went, why is he going to Kristen Welker? Why is he doing Meet the Press? You know, I don't know if he's ever done that before.
She says, like, this is your first interview since you've been elected president. And his response is basically, you're welcome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is good for her for sure. But I really do believe that he said, okay, now's the time. It's into December now. It's been a month. I'm going to sit down with a major mainstream outlet and start feeding some things out there that I want to be out there as priorities for my administration. Knowing he's art of the deal guy, he's probably not going to get everything he wants, but he's going to put some things out and say, here's the starting point for negotiations. Let's talk.
Excuse me. Jackie says, if they didn't enter through a legal port of entry, every illegal alien needs to be deported. The current administration didn't follow the law, and neither did the aliens. Brad, what is your thought on this question? Who should be deported? Everybody, criminals, and we define criminals being outside of their illegal entry into the country. People who have just come here more recently, or nobody?
I think that, I'm of the mindset that everybody should be deported. I mean, if you are here and you're not supposed to be here, you have to go back. And this comes from my mindset that it's not fair to the people that have tried to immigrate to the United States who are doing it the right way and who have done it the right way, the legal way. Whenever I say the right way, that's what I'm talking about, is the legal way. There are people out there that did everything. They incurred all the expenses that they needed to incur. They waited the time that they needed to wait. They got the sponsorships. They passed the citizenship tests and all of the stuff that they needed to do, and they came to the United States. It's not fair to them for you to say, well, yeah, but it's going to be hard to send them back, so we'll just let it slide this one time. I think you send as many back as you possibly can.
Quick Rick says, Ryan, I'm a hardliner on this deportation issue. I can't accept people who come to our nation breaking and entering, so to speak.
Yeah, that's, to me, the correct view. We can talk about dreamers. We can talk about people born here who they themselves didn't have any choice in the matter. But I don't think there should be some sort of expiration for people who say, well, they've been here for 25 years. Yes, they came here legally, but they've been here for a long time. I'm sorry. That doesn't count. The dreamers thing is a little bit different of an issue because they didn't make that decision. But to me, of these choices, you got to go with the first one, every illegal immigrant.
Libby Luhu says all of the above. Send Biden with him. I don't think that we can do. That's not one of our options.
Unless we find something else illegal that he was doing, like maybe he wasn't a citizen this whole time.
How was he president? That's a whole can of worms.
Kurt says all illegal aliens. Ender said all illegals, plain and simple. I mean, this does seem for a lot of people who are responding to be cut and dry.
Yeah. And again, that's why I brought up the Trump sort of strategy here, is because it has to start being cut and dry. Now, if you get into the nuance of deal making and hey, we got to get some Democrats on board here because they don't have supermajorities, so they probably will if they're going to change any laws. That's where you start, though.
The point that you were making about compromise, and that we were hearing about changing the system going forward, I'm always annoyed by the cop-out from politicians on both sides of the aisle where Republicans don't want to talk about the immigration issue because they say the border needs to be solved first. I agree with that statement, but it doesn't get us anywhere when you're not willing to talk about the immigration system, that the Democrats will say, we need to overhaul the entire immigration system so that people can come to this country, that it isn't so difficult. And they say that's the issue that needs to be focused on, and they don't address the border. Both systems, there is compromise to be had in putting those two conversations together, where we do overhaul the immigration system and we do actually stringently police the southern border. And Donald Trump is in a position to do that with putting Tom Homan to say, yeah, let's have this immigration conversation. And he can go on Meet the Press and talk to Kristen Welker about possibilities that might exist that people don't think that he would be in favor of. Wow, Tom Homan is doing Tom Homan things on the southern border. This is leadership. And I'm really excited to see what happens next. You come vote as well on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Let's get over 400 votes before the end of the show here. Who should be deported? We want to know what you think. Annie Fry YouTube, live chat poll. We'll be right back.
Hey, I think I might have found
Wow, this year has flown by, and now you're planning to sell your home. You know, like you, most families have been waiting on the sidelines. Well, now the timing is better, but you still have questions, right? Hey, Mark Cox here from my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been telling you about Gloria Liu for years now. Why? Because Gloria Liu is St. Louis real estate expert, and if you have a home to sell, you need to get to know her like I have. I've seen her systems, her guarantees. I've even met her clients. In fact, I'm also a client. She's different than any other realtor, and if you need help selling your home for the most money, you need to do what I did. Call Gloria Liu. Here's another tip. If you have a home to sell in Crestwood, Shaw, Maplewood, the Central West End, you must give Gloria Liu a call. Take it from me and call my friend Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A person of interest is captured. Lisa Brady, Fox News. He's believed to be the gunman who killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York City last week. Found and detained earlier today in Altoona, Pennsylvania, where police say a McDonald's employee recognized him from surveillance photos. 26-year-old Luigi Mangione held on a gun charge for now.
Upon further investigation, officers recovered a firearm on his person, as well as a suppressor, both consistent with the weapon used in the murder.
NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch says Mangione also had a fake ID matching the one used to check into a New York City hostel before the shooting.
Additionally, officers recovered a handwritten document that speaks to both his motivation and mindset.
Police say that 3-page document shows ill will toward corporate America, but they're not confirming specifics for now. Police say Mangione was born and raised in Maryland and went to college in Pennsylvania. On day 5 of deliberations, a jury says not guilty, acquitting Marine veteran Daniel Penny of negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely after Penny used a chokehold to subdue him on a New York City subway last year. Prosecutors argued Penny was reckless and went too far.
When we heard this not guilty verdict, for the first time, we saw some emotion from Daniel Penny. When he learned his fate, he smiled. In that courtroom, his defense attorney started clapping, and this was obviously a very joyous moment for the defense.
Fox's CB Cotton, but outside the courthouse, devastation for Neely's family as protesters chanted "No justice, no peace."
Jordan Neely's father, Andrew Zachary, saying he misses his son, and he believes there is a two-tiered system of justice.
Neely's father had already announced a civil lawsuit against Penny. The judge had dismissed a more serious count of manslaughter last week when the jury deadlocked on it. New Jersey becomes the latest state to prohibit banning books in school libraries and public libraries, a law signed by the governor. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The official 97.1 FM Talk Weather Center forecast. Clouds and sun, a rather mild afternoon. High today 58. Clouds and a bit cooler tonight, low 35. Partly sunny, cool day tomorrow, the high 41. Partly cloudy tomorrow night and a low 31. A couple of flurries on Wednesday morning, otherwise partly sunny and cold. High on Wednesday afternoon, 38. I'm Steve Williams for 97.1 FM Talk.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-699-1059. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession. It's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too. To help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose. Paid for by Bayer.
Honey, bags are packed and in the trunk. Is the car good to drive to Mother's holiday dinner?
Yes, dear. Car's good. We have Ox Car Care for their extended car service plan. Ox covers our repair bills if anything happens.
We have no worries if any problems come up on our holiday travels. Ox Car Care has our back.
I remember. Ox has flexible coverage plans that can protect issues with engine, transmission, brake systems, and so much more.
Yep, we don't pay. Ox pays. Ox gets it fixed for us. Joe at the auto shop says Ox Car Care pays them directly, and there's no complicated paperwork. Ox is A+ rated, with already millions of dollars paid out in claims.
Right. They handled our claim from start to finish, unlike those other companies. Good call. The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill this holiday. The only thing now is, which pie is Aunt Martha making?
Drive with absolute peace of mind this holiday season. Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-296-3315. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox today. 800-296-3315. 800-296-3315 or oxcarcare.com.
Steel holiday savings are here. Make room under the tree for gifts at the top of their wish list. Power up the holidays with great deals on long-lasting tools. Find the perfect gift at your local Steel dealer or shop the Steel Holiday Gift Guide at steelusa.com.
This is the giving season, so on the Annie Fry Show, we're turning our attention to the St. Louis Area Food Bank.
Join us for a special live broadcast and food drive at Ruler Foods this Wednesday.
Together, we can make a real difference. This Wednesday at Ruler Foods in St. Charles.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Appreciate you being with us on a December-y looking Friday afternoon, Monday afternoon, whatever. It's the same thing.
It's a Monday.
All day.
Yeah, but we're like 2/3 of the way through this show.
Shoot.
Are you kidding me? I mean, it's December.
All right, Mater.
December 9th, like you said a minute ago. It's Monday, and it's 2:07. Just some facts there for the people.
It's like hyper-local radio.
Have you ever listened to radio where you tune in and rural?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it sounds like Tom just called in. He's got a couple of rakes that he wants to sell.
Yeah, it makes me happy.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
I'll listen to that for way longer than I would listen to the podcast here.
It's 2:08 Central Time Zone.
2:08? Yeah. Looks like a minute later than last time I gave the time check.
Now what do we do?
It's great.
We got 36 seconds until I can say it's 2:09. Steve Moore said this when we were talking to him at 105. If you're interested in his thoughts on the economy, he talked about the cabinet picks, especially the economically based ones, and what we have going forward. He just said, he's like, the way he said hello, he's like, I'm smiling all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's tomorrow's promo.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real. There is. I'm glad he said something else in there too, that even the Democrats he knows are like, you know what? Maybe they didn't vote for Donald Trump, but they're also feeling optimistic.
I forgot to ask Mike Bost that. Dang it! I wanted to ask him how bipartisan it would be, like how much work he sees. You have seen congressmen from the other side of the aisle go, well, I'll pay attention to this. I would like to be in on it. Smart for them to be interested because, listen, if the Republicans agree and show up, Democrats don't have a say. They're in the minority. Tiny minority. Yeah. I mean, go watch your How a Bill Becomes a Law situation. Republicans, if they are able to agree and not get in their own way, they're going to be able to do what they want to do. So if I'm a Democrat and I'm not an idiot, I'm going to want to be involved in the process wherever I can be to at least, even if you're not in a position to fully sway the conversation into your side of the aisle's camp, you could report on what is being said and how it's being done, and you could answer to your constituents in that way. So any Republican right now, if you stick together, you're going to be able to make an enormous amount of impact on the future of this country. But any Democrat that's not willing to be a part of the conversation, you're doing your constituents a great disservice.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how many Democrats. Now, they're not saying everything I would want them to say, of course, because that would probably make them Republicans. But they are saying that they want to work with the government cutting phases, the DOGE stuff. And that is so important because if they're going to make any, and I asked Congressman Bost about this too, if they're going to make any meaningful big picture cuts to a lot of mandatory government spending, as he put it, 60% of the budget, they're going to need Democrats on board, at least in the Senate, if not the House, to get rid of some of the big picture structural stuff that needs to change if we're going to ever have a shot at a balanced budget.
I will be curious to see how much can get cut before we know that it's being cut.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, to me, it would be in the left's best interest to step up and be a part of the conversation. There's got to be things that they want to cut that the Republicans also want. There's got to be something. You cannot possibly tell me. I mean, even in budget fights, when you're having budget conversations, the Democrats are always saying, we don't need to spend money over here. We need to spend money over there. So there's definitely places you're willing to cut the budget. And there's fraud and waste in every single.
Yeah, and everybody knows it.
Yes. So how do you limit that? I mean, even the concept of saying we got a lot of buildings that we're paying to clean, we're paying to heat, we're paying to cool, we're paying to secure, we're paying property taxes on or whatever it might be. Like we're paying all of these things and people aren't coming into work. So I know people in government who work from home and they're wondering like, do I get to keep my job? Am I going to have to relocate and go in order to keep my job? There also is the possibility that yes, you get to keep your job. You're doing a wonderful amount of work and effectively making the difference you need to make in your state of employment. But what we don't need to be doing is funding the desk that you don't sit in some federal building just for the sake of doing that. So in that regard as well, maybe working from home does reshape finally the federal government structure the way it is. Absolutely. We're years past private sector America adjusting and adapting to the benefits on hard costs of working from home.
Yeah, we've all seen this happen in the private sector. Actually, just recently, if you work in the mortgage industry, for instance, and I'm talking about big mortgage industry, like big corporations, they'll have these boom times when everybody's refinancing at the same time, and then all of a sudden they're hiring people like crazy, and then rates change, and then all of a sudden business slows down, and this can apply to any business, any industry. And then they have to figure out, oh, okay, all that hiring we did, was it all really essential long term? Or now how do we kind of consolidate? Because some people are doing jobs that we don't really need anymore. Some people are doing a third of a job, and could we make 3 people into one job? And the private sector goes through this over and over and over.
Over and over and over again. Raise your hand if you're doing the job of more than one person, even 5 years ago.
Exactly.
My hands in the air.
Exactly.
It's kind of. It kind of drives me crazy to think about having been in the radio industry since 2006 when I started. Second time I've talked about this on the air, but in sports radio in 2006. But all of the different things I've done in a background support position, I'm pretty much doing all of those things for myself as the person with my name on the show. I'm doing all of these things myself because that's the nature of the business. And if I'm going to sit around and complain, like, where's the digital brand manager? That's what I used to be for 9 years on the station. Like, I need digital things done. I can scream that into the void and nothing's going to happen. I'm going to have to do that myself. And there's nothing really so much wrong with that. If the company is able to sustain and have employees that are willing to stay and work for the wage they're willing to pay them for the job they're asking them to do, that's not going to change in the private sector. In the public sector, fits are thrown and things don't change. But that's about to change.
They have unlimited funding. So they've never had to go through those ebbs and flows for what? 50, 70 years? They've just grown.
Well, not only do they have unlimited funding, the way their funding is structured, it encourages them to spend more money, not less money.
Yeah, so what's the incentive? Well, we're there. It's exciting. We're going to watch it unfold. Yeah. One of the news stories, big news stories of the day, that United Healthcare CEO the killer. There have been some developments in that. Let's listen to Fox News.
Now, investigators and NYPD police sources, Harris, telling Fox News that they believe they found a man who matches that same description of the gunman who killed that CEO in Midtown Manhattan. They found him at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Okay, that's like a 5-hour drive from where we are right now. We knew that the person of interest had possibly hopped on a bus and fled town. Now we're being told they believe they have that person of interest in Altoona, Pennsylvania. So we kind of talked about this earlier when I checked in with you. Person of interest, suspect, they're keeping it at person of interest right now, and they're just saying he matches the description. But not only does he match the description for people watching at home, he also, according to investigative sources who are telling Fox News, he had the weapon they believe was used in this murder in his pocket.
Well, that's a development. So that took place earlier this morning. Alexis McAdams continued to report on the...
This is what happens, I'm told, from police, and it's still developing. But this person's at this McDonald's in Altoona. We've been putting these pictures out all across the country because it's been a nationwide manhunt. So they've been asking people, do you recognize this man in the photo? We want to talk to him. We think he was linked to this ongoing investigation. Well, somebody, Harris, said that McDonald's in Pennsylvania recognized him, called it into local police, and here we are right now. So if this ends up panning out, and they are going to question this guy in Pennsylvania, we could have a huge break in this case. This comes as that CEO is having a private funeral right now in Minneapolis area where he was from. He was just in town for business where he was gunned down.
Fox News reports a person of interest arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania in the search of the individual who killed that United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, has been identified as 26-year-old Luigi Mangione. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said at a press conference Monday that, quote, he matches the description of the identification we've been looking for and that he is in possession of several items that we believe to be connected with this incident. Fox News also reported within the hour the gun found on the suspect in the fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson appears to be a ghost gun that may have been made on a 3D printer, according to authorities. New York Police Department commented on it and said Luigi Mangione was taken into police custody in Pennsylvania. He was in possession of the ghost gun that, quote, had the capability of firing a 9mm round and a suppressor. As of right now, the information we're getting from Altoona is that the gun, appears to be a ghost gun. May have been made on a 3D printer. The capability of firing a 9mm round, obviously that will come during our ballistics testing. They also reported, this is just reported right now, the man arrested was not talking to authorities. Mangione did not have a lawyer as of Monday afternoon, according to law enforcement. So he is not communicating. They also reported that a handwritten document recovered from the alleged gunman accused of killing Brian Thompson appeared to show animosity towards corporate America. I think this is the guy, according to the NYPD. We don't think there's any specific threats to other people mentioned in that document, but it does seem that he has some ill will toward corporate America. Corporate America, and you just gun this guy down?
Well, you can have an overall sentiment, but if that sentiment is feeding into, hitman style action, then that's your guy.
Whenever I see a crime like this, as soon as it makes sense, it's not like you can make sense of things that you don't like, obviously. But as soon as you understand that, person A had anger and wanted to get revenge on person B because person B did this to person A, and what that person B did in no way, shape, or form warrants their murder, at least you can connect the dots and understand the situation. We as people like to understand things. Fear boils up when you don't understand because your wildest thoughts end up filling in the gaps. So it kind of caught me off guard like this. It's a little too soon when people were like, there are a lot of people who are denied coverage for things in America from insurance companies. And it's very all of these motives that were being floated out there when, at least from the public standpoint, and I always assume that the authorities have a whole host of details, so they're way closer to the thing than they're going to tell us what they want us to know for whatever particular reason because they're trying to get the next lead that's going to help us get the guy. But there's a man that had been gunned down, and people immediately are like, the insurance industry denies a lot of people. So it's like, we can't, the shooter is on the loose, but now we need to talk about the insurance industry and denials of coverage, which I think we would all agree that the insurance industry needs a huge amount of reform. Can we try to get the guy who pulled the trigger before we pin on this whole situation some sort of insurance policy change? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we don't know.
It seems heartless to me.
Well, I mean, it's a conversation that it's funny because that conversation about denied claims and stuff, it's like people are waiting to have that conversation.
Just waiting for an opportunity.
This was an excuse to have it.
Same thing with school shootings.
But this isn't necessarily linked to that. It might be. We just don't know yet.
It's okay to wait and find out.
It looks like we might know sooner than later.
And it's also okay to wait and find out that it wasn't about that, and then still have the conversation after the fact. But trying to use some sort of scenario like this to make some sort of political statement, I hate.
Or to try to paint him in a different light because of it. That's just so ridiculous. To say, well, here's maybe his motivation for it. Maybe that's a motivation that would move you.
Yeah.
No, it's not. He just murdered somebody.
Yeah. Yes. The ends definitely don't justify the means here. The other big news story out of today surrounds Daniel Penny.
Protesters are pretty upset. There's a large crowd of them out here next to me. You can hear them rattling the police barricades, saying no justice, no peace. And what they're yelling now follows a series of threats that they hurled earlier as the defense walked in with their client, Daniel Penny, telling the defense team that Daniel Penny can have no peace here in New York if he's found not guilty on this lesser charge, criminally negligent homicide. And from what I can hear right now, they're repeating those threats. They are very angry. Harris, I also want to mention there were a couple people here this morning to support Daniel Penny, but the anti-Penny crowd far outweighs them, and they seem pretty upset. We're seeing police officers come out here in droves to try to keep the two groups separated for now.
I hope America understands what good we can do for our culture, for our investment in the idea of order in our society. We have spent over a decade investing in disorder, in trying to upend the entire system so that power can be allocated to people who use the upending of that system for their own personal gain. There's no cause that ends up benefiting the greater good when this type of chaos ensues. And we were way too quiet as a country watching our country burn because these lunatics want to insert some sort of racial division on the outside of Daniel Penny. We need to, as a country, stand up and support this man. We need to. I'm calling on everybody to support him financially. I don't know how that's going to materialize, but I'm sure there is something. He's going to be taken to civil court. That's already been put into motion. He could have a huge financial obligation due to a civil court judgment. He has legal fees that he's going to have to address. And if America wants to say, enough, you obnoxious little brats that are out there in the streets trying to advocate for something that did not happen here, and you can ask the jury of his peers that said so in this New York courtroom. If we are not as a country going to take this opportunity to say, we've had enough, go throw your fit in the privacy of your own home, whine and moan about why you think life's not fair, this is not how we do things in this country anymore, you're going to have to find a new way because we're not afraid to say so anymore. Daniel Penny's name should be on the restoration of law and order in this country, and America needs to get behind him to support that. I really hope they do. I heard Kayleigh McEnany say today on Outnumbered that he should get a medal from President Trump.
Mm-hmm. It feels different now than it did.
Which is good.
It is. It just feels like there's been a shift. That look, these industries, the race industry that drums up all of this chaos whenever something doesn't go their way, that still exists. It's not immediately gone, but they're just this time feels like America is watching it through a different lens than they used to.
Yeah.
They lost a lot of legitimacy whenever the finances came out. And it's like, well, what are you doing with all this money that people are donating to you? and they're
buying mansions. Buying mansions. That should be a crime.
I think that is a crime.
Well, yeah, extortion maybe?
Or, some sort of like laundering of money through your organization.
Let's take a quick break. We'll give you more updates as they come in on the Luigi Mangione suspect in the shooting of that CEO of United Healthcare, the Daniel Penny, not guilty on criminal negligence. And, of course, the charge dismissed on the manslaughter. That was Friday. Gosh, things keep going in the right direction for once. I don't even know how to handle these sequential victories of such. Well,
it's emotionally taxing.
I need more practice.
Right.
I need them to keep coming so that I remember how to do this. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
STS-Armory.com. Your Christmas shopping needs to make its way through Pontoon Beach. Go check out STS Armory. They're still located at 4127 South Drive in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, but they are moving to a brand new, shiny new location that they designed themselves. It's really exciting for STS. So if you go there and you see a sign out that the building is changing, companies, whatever, businesses, that STS is moving. So, but you could still go there now in Pontoon Beach at the corner of Highway 111 and South Drive. If you were looking for ammunition, accessories, Christmas gifts, maybe gift certificates to cover the cost of that conceal and carry license that your husband is wanting to get for so long in the state of Illinois, or if you're looking to have some questions answered, they can help you with that as well. STS-Armory.com is the website. You can call them directly at 618-931-GUNS. That's 618-931-GUNS, or you can visit them right there in their shop in Pontoon Beach, STS-Armory.com.
It's officially the merry season, and St. Louis's Christmas station, 102.5 KEZK, is your home for holiday music. Spinning the biggest and best festive tracks all day long, now through Christmas Day. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Get your holiday fix on the radio at 102.5 FM. Ask your smart speaker to play 102.5 KEZK, or listen on the go with the free Odyssey app.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon, and I live in the Fenton area, and I love that I have the largest locally owned sporting goods store right here where I live, Denny Dennis Sporting Goods. Their selection of hunting, fishing, firearms, and ammo is huge. Whether it's for you right now or for the outdoors person on your Christmas shopping list, check out Denny Dennis Sporting Goods in Fenton. Their prices and customer service will not be beat. Denny Dennis, where family traditions begin. I even bought my daughter a fishing rod recently, and memories are made forever. Denny Dennis on Gravois at the Merrimack River, Fenton, Missouri.
Hi, Thomas Helbig here with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw. As a family business, we'd like to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We grew up right here in St. Louis, part of a large family, and that's what makes the holidays so special. The things we hold in our hearts, not in our hands. It's the people, family, friends, and the personal relationships that grow stronger with the passing of time.
In the past 38 years, we have become part of many lasting relationships, and we have made a lot of friends in and around St. Louis, and that just can't be taken away. So as we turn the page and put yet another year in the books, let's remember to be good to one another. And for those of you who may have lost loved ones, our hearts go out to you. Here's hoping next year will bring even more joy and blessings to all of you. And remember the important things to be thankful for. So once again, from all of us at the Retirement Advisory Group, and from our family to your family, we'd like to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
You're mobile. We're with you on the radio or on the Odyssey app. Download it and take 97.1 with you, even outside the listening area.
Your home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Run, Rudolph, Santa's gotta make it to town.
Fry Show. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. Ryan, did you get this is something that was provided to you when you went to the location?
Yes.
Okay, so this is not the same as Friday. Your event on Friday.
No, that's completely different.
Talk to us about the event on Friday. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was great. It was the St. Clair County GOP Christmas party. Invited me to speak, and I said, that's weird, but okay. And I spoke at the event.
Did people stay?
I mean, like, half the room probably stayed. The other half visited the bathroom and the bar quite a bit. But
I need another shot.
Yeah, I think I kept about half the room engaged, for a good 15, 20 minutes.
Well done.
Thank you.
It's a good average in baseball.
I would think so. Yeah, 500.
You trying to pull some Juan Soto numbers over there?
Yeah, put me in Cooperstown for the St. Clair GOP
Give him that
event
15-year,
speaking.
$700+ million contract.
Ryan, did you hear about Juan Soto's new contract?
That's all I talked about Friday night.
That's why he kept 50% of the
Yeah,
room.
I said, I know you guys are not like, this isn't that group.
When was that deal done?
Last night.
Okay, so you talked about prescient.
Well, I'm real plugged in. I knew it was coming.
Do you know who Juan Soto is?
Did you leak it? You're the one that they got out.
Do you
early
think
because
that
of
Juan
you.
Soto is one of the best wide receivers in the league?
I wouldn't say one of the best. In fact, I wouldn't even call him a wide receiver. Boom.
Okay.
Boom.
Oh, man, I'm like, if he's this dumb on
seen
this
him play
issue. Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know if he's ever
what's
actually
tough
done it. He
is
could
about
be.
5 years ago.
Professional speaker Ryan Wiggins,
by
you
the
too
way,
can book him for the
we were playing Alexis McAdams clips last segment, and she said they found the suspect at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
that sounds like my father-in-law.
Yeah.
And because he would say, yeah, McDonald's, and he'd talk about
Where's he from?
Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago. He was
Chicago.
chief of police outside of Chicago, and he would say those words, and I would, you sound Chicago. I looked up Alexis McAdams, grew up in Chicago.
Chicago? Did
Yeah.
it, like Chicago, or did they say a suburb?
It just said Chicagoland.
Well, we have a gift here for the show, and I'm really excited to open this. Ryan was given this gift to provide to us here on the show, and you were stopping in our favorite secret, the best secret of the Metro East.
Gosh, I hated to share it because it is a great secret, but whenever I talk about them, they get so many people who show up and go, hey, listen to you in the Fry Show and
Yes,
stuff. So,
and they're real smart.
and I'm like, okay.
So they gave us a box.
So yeah, so here's the story.
Yeah, why were you there?
About a month ago.
There's only one reason to go there.
I go to the
It's
Little
very
Debbie
specific.
store. Yeah, and we're talking about the Little Debbie store in Roxana, Illinois. It's like the old Hostess stores where they would have like the day old stuff. Well, they have a lot of that kind of stuff there, but it's Little Debbie. So I went there about a month ago and just kind of stocked up like I usually do.
Like you're preparing for the apocalypse?
I was just talking to you about STS Armory, and we just picked up our 20-gauge shotgun from them, because we're preparing. And in the meantime, you're stocking up as well, and you're preparing.
Right.
For what?
Apocalypse. Because
The
if
things that matter.
the apocalypse happens, exactly, you think people are going to be like, oh, man, I really need to get my asparagus. No,
You're
I need Swiss cake rolls.
diabetic. You're diabetic.
That doesn't matter.
Just imagine all you've had to eat for like 7-8 months is squirrel, and somebody rolls up and like, hey, I'll trade you.
Oh, man, you're on to something there.
See? So a month ago I went there and they said, hey,
As
we
if
really...
Ryan is going to trade away a single ding dong. No, ding dong's not right.
No, he would eat it and be like,
Swiss
oh, man,
cake roll.
that's a shame.
But no, and oatmeal cream pies and stuff. So they were going to send this about a month ago, and they had it packed up, but they hadn't sent it yet. Well, I went there this Saturday, and they said, oh my gosh, we were just getting ready to send this. They had the box all ready to go.
Shit, you saved them like $20 in shipping.
And so they said, just take it with you to work. So here it is. I don't know what's in it.
The second generation family. This place, I think the best way to find them is on Facebook.
Yep.
It's a second generation family, and they deal in Little Debbie.
They actually are called second generation distribution.
When you are looking for a Little Debbie cake and you go to Roxana to this place, how worthy is the discount and the savings? How worth the time?
I mean, it's like a half an hour from my house, and I drive up there. So, man, I'll
it
tell
sounds
you,
like Will Ferrell and Elf, like through the gumdrop wars.
I'll tell you who would, if I would be really mad if I dealt in full price Little Debbie wares anywhere within the Roxana area. because they've got them undercut.
Full price wares.
Movie theater popcorn butter gourmet old fashioned better made signature. I've never heard of that brand. I guess is that Little Debbie lady on top? I don't know. Potato sticks. When was the last time you had potato sticks?
Sweet. I can't even see it. Oh, there we go.
I don't know that I've ever had those.
Oh, these are
Those
good.
like cheddar fries kind of thing? Is that what those are?
I don't know what cheddar fries are. I feel like potato sticks. I almost feel like that's something that maybe one of my grandparents would have had when I was little. Like, I wonder if I haven't had these in 20 years. Here is fudge. Ooh, it's
fudge.
Chocolate peanut butter fudge. Jalapeno cheddars flavored cheese puffs. You like that, Ethan?
Mm-mm.
I do. Although I don't know
Great
how much I can handle
audio
the
content.
jalapeno.
Birthday cake cookies. Sunbelt Bakery peppermint chocolate chip chewy granola bars.
Oh, I haven't had that flavor. Those look good.
I haven't had that flavor. Have you had all the others?
Yeah.
Christmas mini muffins. Let's see.
What makes them Christmas?
Yeah, this is all Christmas, different Christmas stuff.
Christmas
Now
cakes.
we're
Christmas
getting
tree
to it.
cakes.
Oh, let me tell you
Now we're
something.
getting to it.
The Christmas cakes this year are like a internet phenomenon. I don't know if you've seen people buying big boxes of these things, but I've seen it many times that people have stacks and stacks of these Christmas tree little Debbie cakes.
You know that I've been making some shirts and stuff at home in my crafting days. They now have, Brad is wearing one right now. They now have, this is so weird. You want to talk about Christmas tree cakes. They have vinyl that you can put on shirts in the Christmas tree cake print.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's white with the red ribbons and the green sprinkles. You can buy that to make your Christmas sweatshirts or whatever in the Little Debbie Christmas. That's how iconic these are. People see that and they know. It's like the stupid cups, the blue cups with the purple, whatever.
He's told me when we were talking on Saturday that those Christmas tree cakes have been huge this year, and people are buying them by the case from them.
Yeah,
because
is there something we don't know?
There is. And I said, what is it? Why is it this year? Because I've seen them my whole life, but why are they such a big deal this year? He said that it's become a thing where people are smashing them up and putting was it cream cheese or something with it and something else and doctoring them up and making cake balls out of it.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Amish country snack stuff in here, too. And let's see, mini Christmas tree cake donuts. So it's the same print. Does sound good. And then Christmas tree brownies. How's that sound?
Oh, I've never had those.
I think that's it. There's nothing else in here.
Those are mine.
No, this is...
Those giant fudge rounds, double-decker?
I don't know what you're talking about.
rounds.
I didn't see those
those
there.
are mine.
Those are... Here, you can have this.
Whoa, yeah.
What is it?
I don't know. Some gummy candy that you know he's going to love.
What are they?
Here, I'll show the camera. I don't know what they're called.
If you're
What
buying,
about for the other thousands of people that can't see the camera?
if you're buying treats or whatever
Fruit slices?
for
Fruit
kids,
slices, okay.
for a school party, if you're having people over and you want to set out wrapped cakes that you don't have to make and that are simple and you need to have something, go check out the Second Generation store. They didn't pay us for this. They just gave us some
No, they're
stuff.
just being nice.
Yeah.
And I go there all the time anyway.
And that's it. That's
how
all
many
that's
times
in
a
here.
month would you say you go there?
I would say an average of once a month.
Once a
You
month.
go monthly?
If it was in Collinsville,
You pay your mortgage
I'd go
and you go to the Second
every weekend?
Generation.
Yeah, at least once a week.
It'd be like your Saturday afternoon
But
activity.
I have to make a trip up there, and I still do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you pack for the trip? Do you pack these snacks for the trip?
No, because you can make it one way. And
Double-decker
then by the
fudge
time you get
rounds.
there and you're on your way home,
But-
you're fully stocked.
Right. Okay.
So-
But if for some reason you were to go and they were closed, you'd be in big trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Can you feel the sugar injecting into your system when you eat these double-decker fudge
I
rounds?
actually can feel it right now because
you can see them.
I was eating the Swiss cake rolls that I bought there in the 1 o'clock hour.
Go there and tell them hi from the Annie Fry Show. Thank you guys for sending this to us. That's nice. This all go in the snack drawer, and basically it's Ryan's be a good boy drawer.
Yeah, I'm just going to sort of get in that drawer like a kid gets in a sink for his bath.
Stop being weird.
Stop being weird. He won't have anything to say. All right. Thank you. Go to the Second Generation Little Debbie store. I mean, I seriously have been there myself.
It's just fun.
It's a fun place
It's
to go.
small. It's a little bitty store.
It's unassuming when you go and you're gonna be like, is this really the place? And you're going to go and you're going to be like, I found something.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a fun trip.
I like going there, and I like going to King Louie's right up the street.
Oh, yeah. Get a root beer float.
And the
Cheeseburger?
cheddar cheese wedges.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
healthy.
Oh, man. It's a good day.
I like how you hit up the double-decker fudge rounds before you go get
I
your
feel like I need to go with Ryan on one of these trips just to see what
It's
he
great.
I don't know if you want to see him like that.
Hey, one more plug for that area, Wood River Atomic Pinball. It's a great night. Do the whole thing.
In any particular order.
Yeah, really.
All right, let's get this back on track and talk about who should be deported next on the Annie Fry Show. On the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll, you can give us your thoughts anywhere from everybody who's here illegally to nobody should be deported, and a few options there in the middle. Annie Fry YouTube channel on the poll. We'll get the results with Ethan on the Annie Fry Show next.
Santa, make him hurry, tell him he can take the freeway
This
down.
is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloor.com. You can check out the website for Michael's Flooring Outlet at igotfloor.com and look at the smart place to invest in your flooring future. It's not just for your home, although I highly recommend that you give them the opportunity to show you if you're looking to replace dingy, gross carpet in your house. The options that are available to you might include that Mohawk Smart Strand line of carpeting. It's got a superior performance that you're going to enjoy in your home or whatever it is you're looking for. They have various options that you can try out in their stores. You can go and see the beautiful displays that let you really feel and touch the investment that you'll be putting in your home. But they also work with places of business. So if you have a commercial flooring need or project ahead of you, Michael's Flooring Outlet can guide you through that as well. With great customer service, committed to making sure that you walk away completely satisfied with the experience, with the product, with the service. You can find them in store in 3 locations across St. Louis, but online at igotfloored.com.
You're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Well, don't panic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. The original Red Ribbon Garage Door Company, trusted in St. Louis since 1926. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews for Beast Plumbing, and when it comes to the quality of your water, it is so important, not just for the taste, but for when you wash your clothes or even your hair or your skin, and bad water can affect all of your appliances. Call them today at 314-500-LEAK. That's Beast Plumbing.
It is my honor to be able to give away tickets all this week to Cardinals games, and these are ticket packs. And guess what? This is the first chance. We're doing this every day. The first chance is right now. So be the 9th caller at 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Caller number 9, you will win a Sunday games ticket pack. So this is 5 games. You'll get a pair of tickets to every game. These are all Sunday games, and they're packs like this that we're giving away all week.
Caller number 9 in honor of who?
Oh, no. I'm asking you that question.
Well, I think it's Enos Slaughter. We'll go with Enos Slaughter.
Okay, caller number 9, 314, they've all confirmed it, 241-9797, and good luck.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Good Monday afternoon. It's Mark Reardon working on a couple of big stories here this afternoon. There has been a verdict in the Danny Penny case, of course, and then also an arrest in the Brian Thompson murder case. All of that and a whole lot more on a Monday edition. We're getting set to go here after Fox News at 3.
I've been crying so long.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I'm here to report that the snack drawer is full.
Good. Just one or?
One, but it's a big. It's
a
like
big, deep
it's like
drawer?
a file folder drawer. So
Okay.
It's like that drawer in Bruce Almighty where he pulls it out and just keeps going.
Oh, yeah. I remember that drawer.
Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah. Yeah. The Friday night kicked things off, speaking at that event, and a lot of, really not just great people, but, really dedicated to the cause.
Mm-hmm.
You go to an event like a local GOP event, and you're talking to people who are there because they really believe in what they're doing. I love talking to them.
I'm interested to see how the we're going to need to get probably till about June of next year, but we're going to see things ramping up in the state of Illinois quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a big decision ahead of us in the midterm. The midterm conversation will largely be how people are reacting to Donald Trump's 2 years. I guess probably more like maybe just a little bit over a year when people start running for those positions. But if Donald Trump is successful at doing things that he delivered on and doing so quickly, the Republicans in the state of Illinois could have a fighting chance. The question will be, what do they choose to do with the opportunity? It's also historically likely that the Republicans get trounced in that midterm election.
Yep.
People want to see change. People want to see checks and balances back in place. And so, I don't know. We'll see how it ends up developing. But I would really love to see some of the common sense that is pushing back on the absurdity of things in Chicago right now find its way into the statewide conversation. There's not a single Republican in statewide office in Illinois. There's a supermajority of Democrats in the House. There's a supermajority of Democrats in the state Senate. So it would be really, really great, when we're talking about throwing in some checks and balances, that maybe the state of Illinois would try to rectify some of those issues. And then moving over to the west side of the river, it's important also to look at the Republican supermajority in the state of Missouri and see if they're going to get their act together and actually represent the people who sent them there.
Does it make you mad when you look at Missouri? It makes me mad because there's so much that they could be doing, so much they should be doing. And nobody knows whether initiative petition reform would have actually blocked Amendment 3. It could have, though, and they didn't do it. And gosh, I hate, being sour grapes about things that moving forward should be good. The Missouri legislature is moving in the right direction, but man, have they missed some opportunities.
In other news today so far, we've seen that Laura Trump has stepped down from the RNC, and there's a lot of questions about whether or not she's going to be able to or be interested in taking that Senate seat. Should she be appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis, the one being vacated by Marco Rubio, who has been nominated to be the Secretary of State? Laura Trump, this is according to Fox News, announced on X that she would be stepping down as the co-chair of the RNC, citing that her time during the RNC had 3 distinct goals, and they have all been accomplished. She's done a phenomenal job making sure, I really feel like making sure that the Republican Party stayed true to what the Republican people, the movement, wanted to see happen, and that was the return of Donald Trump. With a lot of people along the way who are skeptical, myself being included. Not 100% sure early on that the Republican Party would be able to coalesce behind Donald Trump if he has too much baggage, which is the phrase that is always articulated about him. That what mattered to me and to a lot of other people in the party was whether or not he would be able to win. And he did. And I don't think that happens without Laura Trump at the RNC focusing so well on being present on Election Day and leading up to Election Day to make sure that everything was fair, but also making sure, like when you think back to Rhonda McDaniel, what the heck was she even doing?
Yeah, and these are positions that we didn't really know that much about up until you started to realize that how influential they are. And you do kind of look back and go, well, your job was to do the things that they're currently doing. Why were you not doing those things?
Well, some of the things about like Ronna McDaniel that interested me, what really got me looking at it, was Scott Pressler was doing all this work through Early Vote Action to register voters, and she wouldn't even meet with him. You know, and then you started looking, well, Laura Trump, when she got in there, and Michael Whatley, did I say that right?
Yeah.
They both were having regular meetings with Scott Pressler, and holy cow, we won Pennsylvania largely because of efforts him and people like him have made through Turning Point and all that other stuff.
She said, Fox News reports last month that she told Fox News' Sean Hannity that she would, quote, would love to serve the people of Florida and would love to consider filling the Senate seat if asked. I have no problem with her being there, and her presence in the Senate would disallow the swampy Republican senators, not from being swampy Republican senators, but from doing it in private.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons that I would like to see her in the Senate, too. The only thing about Laura Trump that I don't like, honestly, is that I don't like political dynasties that much. And I'm not interested in seeing somebody ascend just because they have the name. But I have nothing against her. She's done a great job, and so I have no reason to be against her being in the Senate.
She also doesn't set up some sort of domino effect of like, okay, now that she's vacated her position, what do we do? I guess Whatley will probably just take over. She was the co-chair.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it at all. The YouTube live chat poll for today is who should be deported? We have 4 options. The first one is everybody who's here illegally. The last one is no one should be deported. The 2 in the middle are a little more complicated, or at least need a little more context. The second option in the question today of who should be deported is criminals. So you remember in 2015 or 16, whenever it was before Trump actually became president the first time, when he said something about how they're sending their murderers and their rapists, like he said they're not sending their best. Boy, was that vindicated. The reports are that prisons in these countries are like have low census because they literally are here.
Yeah.
And we don't have anything on them. We don't know until we catch them and then do some digging or whatever, but they're here. I mean, and when I say here, I don't mean America. I mean here in St. Louis. These gangs are here.
How weak and stupid do we have to look to the government of Venezuela to go, okay, that country's way more powerful than us, but they're idiots. So we're going to empty out our prisons and send them there. And they won't do anything about it. And guess what? If Kamala Harris had won, nothing would have been done about it. That's the kind of leadership that when we talk about foreign policy, nobody mentions that stuff. But that's really happening and has happened.
It is kind of interesting on this side of the election to think about if Kamala Harris were elected. What would be happening right now? What would the conversation be right now? How quickly would she be acting on cabinet picks and all that stuff? Did you see the video? I don't even know where they were. Kamala Harris and Dougie Doug were in a box somewhere, and the presidential seal was on the front, and then Jill Biden walks out, and Joe Biden walks out. Do you know where that was?
I read it. It was a...
Was it a theater?
It was an event.
It looked like the same place they do that comedy award, and I can't remember what the award is. Adam Sandler just got it recently in the last year or so. But they walk out to this box. The presidential seal is on the front of the box. And Kamala, like you can tell when Jill walks out, Kamala turns because she's walking down and, you know, she's like they're above people in a box for everybody to come out and everyone claps. Yeah. Jill Biden's walking out. And Jill walks out and she's clapping and she's smiling. And Kamala like turns to look at her and walk down. Jill does not make eye contact with her. When Jill is walking down the steps, Kamala's to her left and she goes to the right, and then President Biden walks down, also smiling, waving, people are clapping. He goes to his right. They stand there, and Kamala's kind of like looking out of the crowd and then turning and looking at Jill and Joe. They never look at her once. If they wanted to send the message that they were BFFs as they've always been, they definitely failed at that. We're playing the video on here. Can you tell where it's from?
Yeah, that's at the Kennedy Center.
The Kennedy Center. So, yeah, so they're turning around and looking, and Jill just comes out and waves to the people and makes a hard right turn and walks right past Kamala. They don't shake hands. Kamala doesn't like tap Joe on the shoulder. He doesn't acknowledge Kamala Harris's presence at all. It's trouble in paradise.
You're not sure that it's a shun, but it definitely is not any sort of attempt to show, hey, we're all cool here.
If you wanted to push back against rumors that they absolutely hate each other, and Jill Biden longingly looking at Donald Trump at the Notre Dame Cathedral reopening, Donald Trump tweeted out his cologne and is like, it makes even your enemies want to be around you or something like that. I mean, Jill Biden wearing red to go vote.
It is something.
I keep saying there's a ton of money in a tell-all book, and I am pretty sure that Jill Biden's going to write it.
I'll read it.
Heck yeah. I support it. And I think she's the worst wife in America. YouTube live chat poll, Ethan.
Who should be deported? 480 votes today.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Cool.
We'll go smallest to largest this time. No one.
Ryan
2%. 2%, no one. 4%, more recent immigrants.
I was not a choice in this poll.
I considered it.
15% criminals other than illegal entry. And then 79% say every illegal immigrant.
One of our higher vote totals of all, and a resounding near 80% victory for every illegal immigrant should be deported. From you fine folks who voted today. Thank you for voting. Go to AnnieFryShow.com/podcast to check out anything that you missed that you might be looking to hear all of, like Al Robertson, Steve Moore, Mike Bost. But keep it here, because Mark Reardon is next.
Listen, you've been making house payments for years, right? And right now, your home's value has never been higher, right? That means you're likely sitting on a small fortune in equity. Good for you. That's cash you could use to help secure your retirement, solve all your financial burdens, enable you to travel, everything you want. The catch is, you're not ready to move. No problem. You don't have to with True Hold, Sell and Stay Leaseback Program. This is a genius financial strategy. You sell your home to True Hold while the value is high. You bank all that equity in cash now, and you can stay in your home as long as you like with an easy, affordable lease. And True Hold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. True Hold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a True Hold offer now while your home's value is sky high. Call 1-855-300-9993. That's 1-855-300-1993. Or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out without moving out. TrueHold.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain.